What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight. We are here with the first episode of the Code X Top 10 list. As we've said before, we're just going to be doing Character of the Week every other week to give us more time to do research. So we are going to be intermixing it with Comic Creator of the Week and Top 10 list, because who doesn't like a good Top 10 list? I mean,
Top 10 is the way to go.
That's what we do as nerds, right? We like to.
We're always rating stuff.
Yeah, we like to go to the shop, and we like to, talk about this character is better than that character, and so
my superhero is better than yours. My fictional guy in tights is better than your fictional guy in tights.
So I will be your host for tonight, and joining me here is Chris the Schwartzlander, and we are waiting for Uncle Gary to join us. He said he is having some power issues at the house there. Sal is not going to be here tonight, probably because he is lurking in the bushes outside of Gary's house, cutting the power lines to try and make off with a few things.
It was a big marinara sale.
Yeah, the big marinara sale. So me and Chris are just gonna chat for a little bit, shoot the shit, if you will, and wait for Gary to join us. Good evening, Mobius.
Mobius, hello.
And Mobius has already hit us with his top 10. So he's got Batman, Plastic Man, Superman, Joker, Owlman, Flash, Vandal Savage, Lobo. I know Richard would not like that. Darkseid, and Amanda Waller. It's a good list. Oh,
it is a good list.
Plastic Man from Injustice and Deceased.
I love Vandal Savage. He's one of my favorites.
Yes, he is.
I don't list him, but he's one of my favorite villains.
It's really hard to narrow it down to 10, isn't it?
Especially when you start looking, when it's not just heroes.
Yeah.
Because you start looking at villains and sometimes supporting cast. Not that I chose anyone in supporting cast, but that's an option.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's your favorite character.
Especially for, hey, what's up, Mr. Keith? Thank you for joining us.
Mr. K.
Especially with DC, they've got some fantastic supporting characters.
Oh,
Lois Lane, Alfred. There's some really good ones.
Sue Denby.
What'd you say?
Sue Denby.
Yeah, Sue's a fantastic one. Hell, Superman alone, you've got Lois, you've got Terry, you've got Jimmy, you've got Ma and Pa Kent, Lana, until they decided to make her a superhero.
And these are supporting characters that are household names.
Yes,
people know these characters, even if they haven't read a comic book.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be a fun list getting into it tonight. Like I said, we're just waiting for Gary to jump on. So we invite everyone in the chat to go ahead and hit us with your top 10s. The way we're going to be doing it is we're going to be, hey, what's up, Liz? Thank you for joining us. We invite everybody to give us your top 10s. You can do it in the comments. You could do yours all at once, like Mobius did. You can give it to him one at a time as we're going. The way we're going to do it is we are going to excellent. Can't wait to see it. We're going to be starting at 10 and working our way up to 1. Though for this one, since this is the first one, we are going to allow honorable mentions. So I figured when we had the idea to start this, the best thing to do would be, let's start. We're going to do one with our top 10 favorite DC characters. And when we do the next one, it's going to be our top 10 favorite Marvel characters. Figure that'd be a good way to start it off. And then we'll, there's the possibilities are limitless.
Yeah. And the nice thing about top 10 lists is it gives you a lot more to talk about. Yeah. You're not just restricted to a specific character or that specific character's deeds and feats. You can talk about all kinds of stuff. Top 10 horrible haircuts in Marvel comics.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the way we did this is I had the guys all send me. Oh, here we go. Now we're complete.
There we go. Took some work.
You guys should have worn your matching shirts tonight.
Wasn't gonna
I
happen.
asked him if we could, and he said no.
My wife said no.
He said, "I will kill you if you do."
My wife has always wanted us to do matching, things. And I say no. I'm not being no twins. I'm doing any twinsy stuff. And she said if I did it with Chris.
Oh, and we lost them.
Yep, she must have heard him talking.
Well, Twins is a fantastic movie, though. It's got my favorite ever line from an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in that. And it's not specific. It's not just the line. It's the line and the context it's delivered in, and the character that he says it to. When Danny DeVito, when they first meet, for the first time, and Danny DeVito looks at me, he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And Arnold Schwarzenegger looks at DeVito and goes, "I'm your brother Julius." It's just the context of it, and seeing those two there, and him like, "I'm your brother Julius," cracks me up.
That's a fun movie, man. I love that.
That's a great movie. What's up, Pam? They were talking for years about doing another one called Triplets, and it was going to have Eddie Murphy.
That would have been great.
Other brother.
I absolutely would have read that.
Damn. Well, you still got to put them in order, Mr. Keith.
He just beat the system.
But yeah, it'll be interesting because I had the guys, send me all of their, not just their picks, but I told them you pick out the pictures that you want. So like if they just sent me a list of here's the characters, I could go, easily and Google and pick out what I thought would be cool looking pictures. But I thought it'd be more interesting to see not just their picks, but the image that they, that each of us chose to have represent our character. And then two, seeing the list, there are characters that are on the same character on multiple lists. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, where a character might be higher on one person's list than on someone else's. It will be a different image that's picked for it. Might be different reasonings why they were picked.
You think Gary's coming back?
I hope he's coming back. I'm gonna shoot him a text. What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yes.
I am getting one more book. What I've decided to do while we do this is display some famous firsts of each character that I picked.
Hey, that's cool.
Except for the last three, I don't really have. I don't really have a collection anymore. Yeah. Since I sold off a bulk of it.
But you are now, as all of us are with this, you are starting to rebuild it. It's
no. It's all
I thought I was out, and they dragged me back in.
I got 9 boxes now.
All right, hey,
I had
with the
40, 35.
With the new pulls that I picked up this week, my collection hit exactly $17,500.
Jeez,
on the nose.
Yeah.
He says his tablet is plugged in, but on low power. Don't know why it won't let him use it.
Because it's on low power. Well, this is exciting.
I can't talk and then type. I can't say one thing and then type something different. You can.
Just say what you're typing.
I'm just letting him know that we'll talk for a little bit until he can jump back on. So, yeah. So it ought to be all be fun, and it's interesting because I think like anybody with this, you could make your list now, and you could come back to it in 2 weeks, and it'll be a little different. And you could come back to it a month and a few months. Like I took, me and Jamie had started recording a couple top 10 lists, and then he ended up not putting them up. So one of them was we had done our top 10 favorite DC characters, and we had done our top 10 favorite Marvel characters. So I pulled the list out, and I'm thinking, like I'm going off the top of my head, remembering, like I remember I had this character. I'm typing them in, pull the pictures up. Excuse me. And one of them I put in, and I was like, and then I looked at the list. I'm like, oh, well, he's not on the list. Well, I need to put him on the list. So there were a few characters on my initial list that I had to take off and then add it, because I was like, well, I got to put this one on and this one on. And then even then, there were multiple ones that I just had to make the tough call. Like Zatanna. Zatanna's a character I really like, and I was like, I was looking at my list. I'm like, I can't take any of these characters off. So, she had to be an unfortunate cut.
Yeah, I realized halfway through making my list that this list is by no means final. It changes constantly. It fluxes all the time. I think the first 3 that I have on the list are pretty much always there. But some of those guys are interchangeable.
I kind of tried to think of it about characters that I've followed for the longest time. Also thought about characters like, all right, if they ever start a new miniseries or ongoing series or whatever with this character, what are the chances I buy it? And I'm like, all right, well, if it's certain that I'm going to buy it, well, then they got to be on the list. But even then, like I said, Green Arrow was on my list initially. Then when I was thinking, like, I got to add this character and this character, and he fell off, I'm like, I love me some Green Arrow, and I'll always buy Green Arrow books when they start. So
yeah,
it was it was tough. It was tough to narrow it down, even doing 10 and then adding that extra little honorable mention was still just
it's hard. Especially, I'm a team guy. I'm more into team books. And my team being the JSA, a lot of those guys I can swap out, for any of the other JSA members.
I'll be honest, on the first time we did this, like I said, I don't know, why it wasn't put up, but my number 10 spot was just the Justice Society of America. I even remember saying on there, I was like, I know this is kind of cheating because it's a whole team and not a single character. I was like, but the context of them is they're always together, and they had all their own adventures in the Golden Age, but in the modern age, there we go.
He's back. Yay, Uncle Gary.
It's like AC/DC. He's back in black. Well, we can see your name, but we can't see you or hear you. But what was it? But yeah, like in the modern age, they don't really have their own solo books very often.
Yeah,
and it was also kind of a cheap way for me to get like a ton of characters onto my list at once.
Put your spelunking hat on so we can see it.
A very efficient concept where a lot is done with very little variations here. Yeah. And another list that we'll do at some point is top 10 teams.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, one that I'm looking forward to doing mostly because I came up with it and I already made my list for it.
Oh, you already have.
Again, me and Jamie were recording these, and we were going to do top 10 teams and then top 10 comic events, and we ended up never even recording those. So I still got my list from them. So while I'm sure I have to go back and probably edit it some.
Yeah, whittle it down a little. Play with it.
Interesting.
Sure is dark over there.
My list totally reflects my likes versus who. Yeah, and that's the thing. We're doing our top 10 favorite characters. So because if we did top 10 most popular, top 10 most important, whatever like that, we'd probably all have the same list, and just Superman would be 1, Batman would be 2, Wonder Woman would be 3, and then 4 through 10 would probably be mostly the same characters, just maybe in slightly different orders. This character, yeah, and
me too.
Yeah, and so by doing our top 10 favorite characters, it's gonna make it a bit more interesting. Gary, I don't know if you can see us or hear us. I'm gonna drop you out here. Here, let me text him real quick. Go ahead, say something.
Something.
All right, ass.
Are you ready for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think so. Are you?
No, hell no.
All right, here we go.
And her birthday's next week too.
There we go.
We'll see if it allows it. I got 1% power, but it's plugged in. I don't know, so maybe it's not going to allow it to go. So,
you can only have one Wonder Twin on your list, Chris.
But they won't work without the other one.
Did you ever see that episode of Family Guy where they did the joke about the Wonder Twins?
No.
Or one of them was like, they're like, Wonder Twin powers activate, and one of them was like, form of blah blah blah, and then went off to do something, and then Peter was like, form of a tampon, and then jumps in the girl's purse and goes, now we wait.
No, terrible.
Yeah. And now we wait.
It's very wrong.
I love Zan and Jaina.
Yeah. So Gary, so like I was just telling everyone quick, we're we're gonna do this probably about once a month roughly, and it's our top 10 favorite DC characters, so it'll be fun to see. There are some characters that are on multiple lists, so it'll be fun to see some are higher on lists than on others, and see which artwork was picked for each character, and we might have different reasons for why we like them. And so we are going to go ahead and we're going to start this off. And I don't think we have any kind of, video or graphic or anything for this. So
it's all right. We're going to go 10-1, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to start with our honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Nice. That's right.
Let me just find the little codex opener. Then we can.
Chris has some honorable unmentionables.
All right, we will be back in just a second.
Yeah, I'd never seen one prolapse before. Oh, sorry.
Welcome, everyone. This is the first of what will be many Codex Station Top 10 lists. We'll be doing one about once a month or so. And I
had a hard time counting to 10.
Would Sonny say 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10! So we're going to be doing for our premiere episode, our top 10 favorite DC characters. We're going to start from 10, count all the way up to 1. With me is the Schwartzlander himself, Chris, and the Ric Flair of comics, Uncle Gary. Thank you guys for joining me. And I know I've been looking forward to this for quite a while, because who doesn't love a top 10 list?
I love the Firestorm shirt.
Thank you. There was another character shirt I was going to put on, but I want this guy's on my list. Firestorm was one that unfortunately didn't make it, but I want to have him represented. So
here we go. Got some love.
So the rules are simple. Everybody just picked their top 10 favorite DC characters. I had each of the guys pick the artwork that they wanted for it. So, we're not just seeing, again, because some of the characters overlap. So it's going to be interesting to see, which of us had different artwork for each character. So we're going to go ahead and start. And Sal could not be on with us tonight. There was a trouble at the meatball factory. He had to go sort things out. And, Mike, unfortunately, was going to be with us, but he had a work thing. Kevin was going to be with us, but he not feeling well, so I'll let you know off the bat. His number one pick would have been Animal Man, and I'm 99% certain Constantine would have been number 2.
Good choices.
They are good characters.
So we are going to go ahead and start off with our honorable mentions. And, Gary, you can go ahead first with yours.
Well, this will be a nice segue into what Kevin's number 2 pick probably would have been. My honorable mention pick is the aforementioned John Constantine.
Constantine.
Constantine is
lead singer of Mucous Membrane.
That's right. He was Mucous Membrane. That is one of the greatest names of a punk band ever. It
really is.
That was just brilliant. Barb Gordon Zatanna, very good. Hair Star, Babs Gordon Zatanna, very good.
Zatanna was, if this was top 12, Zatanna would have been on my list. That's how close she was to me.
Zatanna's awesome.
Yes.
If next year for Valentine's Day, if we do a couples list, Zatanna and Constantine would probably be on mine.
Yeah.
So, but John Constantine, the part magician, part con artist,
all bastard
at times. That's right. The ends for him will justify whatever means he wants to throw out there. He will burn friends and enemies alike just to be able to put down a demon. So, he and this is the dude that in one of the greatest Fan of Strangers, a great one. He was tight on my list. He was on my cut down list too. But John Constantine is the dude that flipped off the devil. So when we revisit Constantine, that'll be up there for my badass moments and dangerous habits. He flips off the devil, and just, man, what a badass. But I just love that he plays by his own rules, pisses off friend and foe alike. So he is a equal opportunity asshole. So he's a huge dick, but we love him. So, or at least I do. So,
are you saying that you love huge dick?
When it's John Constantine, I love the huge dick. Mm-hmm. He is a definite cock. That's right.
He likes that cockney cock.
Cockney cock. That's right.
All right. So for my honorable mention, I'm going to go with a character that did not start off life as a DC character, but has been one for quite a while, and that is the big red cheese himself, Captain Marvel. And notice I said Captain Marvel because it's stupid to call him Shazam. His name, you can't have your name be the magic word that turns you into the character. And every time someone says, "What's your name?" you say Shazam, and bam, you're hit with a lightning bolt. And you're turned into a 12-year-old kid.
What's your name? I can't tell you right now.
Well, I like Shazam better than calling him the Captain.
I can write it down.
So, yeah, he's my pick. This character, as much as Gary hates, dial H for hero. That's a thing that was created kind of as a wish fulfillment thing. That's what Captain Marvel is, man. It's I think of it, it's a little kid that says a magic word and he's turned into the most powerful mortal that there is and gets to become a superhero. I mean, who didn't want that as a kid?
I hate Robbie Reed. I do not hate Billy Batson. I'm all aboard the Batson train.
So yeah, he's I'm a big Captain Marvel fan, and I as much as I did like the short run that Jeff Johns had on it, I liked it because it was a good story, but I didn't like how he handled Billy and how he handled the Captain. That Billy's not supposed to be some tough, smart alecky, streetwise kid. Billy's the golly gee, wow, that's who he is, and that's one of the cool things about the character. And that nobody knows that Captain Marvel, or few people know that Captain Marvel is really this little kid that just has this like superhero body. So, yeah.
And he's a great character. He's been in some fantastic stories. I loved him in Kingdom Come. I love how they used him in that.
Yes.
whether it was Billy or
the finale fight with Superman at the end of that is just
phenomenal.
Back to calling him Shazam now. It's not DC's fault they can't call him Captain Marvel.
Well, they could call him Captain Marvel. They haven't been able to use the name on a cover for a long time. That's why the book was always Shazam. But they could still call him Captain Marvel. And I think that they probably still could. I think they just don't really want to get into, they don't want to get into.
Well, it's Marvel's copyrighted.
Yeah, but they had it first.
Well, Fawcett had it first.
Well, Fawcett had it first, and they bought it from Fawcett. So I think they could still find a way around it. I think that they just don't want to deal with the hassle.
His original name in Wiz Comics 1, the Ashcan, was Captain Thunder. Yeah.
Which, if you can't use Captain Marvel, I'm perfectly fine with using Captain Thunder.
Yeah. It'd be awful to see that character go back into litigation again after it was in litigation for, 25, 30 years before Fawcett gave it up.
If Carface isn't on anyone's list. Sonny, he could be on your list.
Well, so, this is the top 10 DC characters, and Sonny still got it full of X-Men.
So we're going to go Sal. Even though Sal's not on tonight, he did send me his list. He did send me his top 10 characters as one big graphic. So I'll show that when we start. But he did have his honorable mention, which is soon-to-be star of the silver screen, Brainiac.
Really?
Yeah.
And he wanted it specifically noted, the one with the booty shorts.
And the pink shirt.
Yeah. So I think Chris actually has this cosplay in his closet.
I have that ensemble.
Yeah, but he didn't know it was Brainiac until he looked at the color scheme.
I just thought it was regular clothes.
Yeah, I just thought it was Saturday night. So Brainiac's first appearance, Action 242. That is a pricey book, more expensive than you think it should be. Because I know that's what I thought when I bought it. More expensive than you think it should be. I had to get a copy that's been well read, let's say.
Well, him being in the new movie isn't going to hurt the value of that at all.
Oh, he'll be in the next Superman.
Yeah, he's the villain in the next Superman movie.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the actor that cast him, but when you look at his picture, you're like, yeah, that guy looks like Brainiac.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right, so for our final honorable mention, it is the one from Mr. Schwartzlander here, who, because he picked this, I was like, all right, everybody can get an extra pick and have an honorable mention this time. So
my honorable mention is the great Charles Doiby Dickles.
Oh, you dickhead. Remember what Constantine did to the devil? I'm doing it right here, right now, for you and your Doiby Dickles.
Without whom the Alan Scott Green Lantern would have died multiple times. Doiby saved him so many times during the
Yes. That is a dishonorable mention.
When he sent me his list, he sent me, because he just sent all the pictures at once. So I opened them up and I'm going through and I was like counting. I'm like, it's 11. And then I was looking at him. I went, is that Doiby Dickles? I'm like, did you pick that just to piss off Gary? Or just to mess with Gary? He's like, yes. I went, okay.
It was either that or Robbie Reed.
I was going to say, if it was Robbie Reed, it would be probably worse.
I was like, all right, that is an honorable mention, which then I told the rest of the guys, well, since he gets an honorable mention, you guys can have it. But I did.
I'll take my honorable mentions back. You get that Doiby Dickles off the screen.
I did tell Sal that's what Chris's honorable mention was, which is why he picked Booty Shorts Brainiac.
Well, in those shorts, his Doiby Dickles would be showing.
Yeah, Amanda Waller is a great fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mobius number 10, Amanda Waller, a strong pick. So we're gonna go ahead and start off. I'll start off with Sal's because it's all one thing.
Did Mike get picks into you, or he wasn't able to do that either?
No, I didn't get him from Mike. Okay. So Sal, we got number 10, Clayface, number 9, Steel, number 8, Harley Quinn, 7, Sinestro, 6, Hawkgirl, which that one kind of surprised me a bit.
Okay.
5, Constantine. 4, Alfred.
Great pick. Great pick. He was on my list of cuts that was very painful.
Alfred is a great pick.
Probably the best supporting character in comics, I'm going to say.
Number 3, Batman. Number 2, Green Arrow. And number 1, as no surprise to anyone here, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
Those solid picks.
Great picks.
That's a good pick, Liz.
Yep.
I haven't seen her in a while, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a really tragic storyline with her.
Oh,
with her and her brother, yes.
Yeah.
Her brother got chowed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little crocodile love.
All right, so we're going to start off with Gary. You want to tell us your number 10 pick?
Well, in the Earth after disaster, we need a savior when most humans have been reduced to mere cattle. We need somebody to help lead humanity back against these hordes of intelligent animals like lions and bears and apes. Commandy, the last boy on Earth, is my 10th favorite character on this list, and I love him. That is a great shot.
That is a beautiful shot.
It's very Kirby-esque, but done by Bruce Timm for the Commandy Challenge that was done a few years ago. And that is a really cool 12-issue series, or maybe it was even 13, where a creative team would tell a story of Commandy and would leave it in a cliffhanger, and a new creative team would take the next issue and would have to resolve that cliffhanger with no help from the former team and end in a cliffhanger for the next team to get out of. I thought it was a brilliant writing concept and exercise.
Great.
And what was really cool about it was, so we look at Commandy. Commandy is kind of an inside baseball character, right? Where a lot of people, that collect really don't know about him, but creators love this character that Jack Kirby created, and they were clamoring to be a part of this project. So that tells you how much a character is beloved when comic creators couldn't get enough of this and were begging to have one of the shots at one of those issues to do one of the Commandy issues. So, and we're talking about some pretty major league talent.
Yeah.
Worked on those books. So, and there were great.
Surprised that was Bruce Timm. It put me in mind of Darwin Cook.
It was Bruce Timm. It was Bruce Timm.
Very nice.
And I think the reason that the reason they ended up coming up with the Commandy Challenge was because they had so many pitches from different creators to do Commandy that they were like, well, why pick one? We'll just have all of them do it.
And it was done in conjunction with Kirby's 100th birthday.
Yeah,
which is
cool. And it had the cool little Kirby drawing in the corner.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, Bruce Timm certainly challenging or channeling Kirby, and like you said, it is very Darwin Cook-esque.
It's beautifully done.
Oh, it was just one of my favorites, and there were great multiple. Each one of these issues had at least, I think, 3 covers, and of course, I bought every damn cover because they were all so good. So I loved it. It was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite books out that year, but a lot of it went to my nostalgia with the Earth After Disaster. If you're somebody that digs Planet of the Apes, this is Planet of the Apes on steroids, because it's not just the apes' intelligence; it's all the animals.
Yeah.
So, and I know you've said before it's your favorite Kirby work.
It is my absolute favorite Kirby work. Yeah.
All right, Chris. So
now
with your number 10 character.
Sure. I was just going to look back at this. The challenge. DC has done challenges before that have not been quite as successful.
That's right.
The DC challenge back in, what was it, the late 70s, early 80s?
I think that was in the 80s. That was in the 80s.
It? Yeah, that was something else.
Mark
Evans,
I think, was the guy that. Yeah, it was hodgepodge at best.
Yeah. My number 10 is, I had to give the Legion some love, and my favorite Legion member is Matter Eater Lad.
Ha! Take that, Sonny.
Baseball. I mean, the guy has a power.
Universe.
The guy has a power
universe
that all middle-aged men want. He can eat anything and not gain any weight. He's just
Hensel
great.
Kim. And he can eat anything, digest it. What planet's he from?
Bismol.
Bismol. One of the worst jokes ever, but he's from the planet Bismol.
He is awesome. Look at there. Look at him eating those iron bar.
Yeah, I've got an action figure in that Legion set I have where he's got a mouthful. He got a chaw in his mouth. He's chewing on something. Yeah. Matter
He's just a very fun character, and he speaks to that, 1950s, 1960s innocence that the Legion initially represented.
Mm-hmm. Beat it. There you go. I couldn't believe that's your favorite Legionnaire. That's pretty funny.
I'm going to go with my number 10 pick, which, as I was, saying before you jumped on, Gary, I had recorded a top 10 favorite DC characters list with Jamie a long time ago, and it, whatever reason, never got put up. So I had my list, and I went back to it when I was looking at it. I'm like, well, I got to change this character. So I'm sure if we did this 6 months from now, these lists would be different. So this character was not on my initial list, but I had to add her on, and that is my girl.
Look, she's on a lot of my lists.
I have her first appearance.
I do too.
I would like to hear her first appearance, but there's the obvious,
her breasts weren't as large then.
Well, do you know the reason why they became so large?
Because didn't the artist just keep drawing them bigger and bigger?
Wally Wood
was convinced that nobody really was paying attention to his art anymore, and the way that he was seeing if they were for editorial was every issue he drew her breasts a little bit bigger, and he decided he was just going to keep doing that until somebody said something, and eventually they got to the
so he got banned for talking about the breast.
Yeah. He was talking about breasticles and got kicked off.
But eventually they got so big the editorial said something like, hey, you got to knock it off. And he said, all right, that's the point. So
yeah, that's where it is.
So that's where they got left at. So that's why they're so big.
Yep. Oh, Pam.
Awesome, Pam.
Sunboy. And Pam.
I love Sunboy.
Sneak peek, Pam. I got a Legionnaire coming up too. All right.
So it's not just the obvious, nerdy fanboy reasons like, oh, she got big boobs. I really like the character. I like that how she's tough, how she doesn't take shit from anybody. I also really like the Palmiotti and Amanda Conner run where she had that, she's a character that, is really good with the comedy stuff that they did with her too. She's been a member of the Justice Society. She's been a member of the Justice League. And, they've have screwed with her origin at times where they, when they tried to, one of the worst retcons that came out of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Thankfully, they fixed it. But just an all around, just really cool character.
It was just well, first of all, like you said, we have Wally Wood to thank for the memories of girl. And the Crisis issues where Kal-El, the Superman of the Golden Age Superman, and Lois died. That was heartbreaking for Power.
Oh, an Infinite Crisis.
Even though they're Kryptonian, but what humanity in those.
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, it's just tear-jerking.
And she is second only to Wonder Woman in DC Comics as a feminist icon, too. She's tough. She doesn't put up with any crap. And will go toe-to-toe with anyone that stands in her way. And that she's an awesome character.
And led her own JSA team at one point, too.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Had some great interactions with Wildcat.
I loved her relationship with Wildcat.
I liked how they had her and the third Doctor Midnight, as a couple for a while. I thought that was interesting. There was a really great issue of Justice Society where there was this like really lame villain, I can't remember his name, that showed up thinking that he was going to impress her, and you got in a fight with her, and he basically just wanted to date her, and she just like mopped the floor with him. And I can't remember his name, but it was a really cool issue, but it was really funny too.
He enjoyed every bit of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's remember the yellow cat she had in was it Justice League Europe or Justice League America?
Yeah, I think it was Europe.
Yeah, that horrible cat.
She also had that horrible costume too, that white and
yellow. Yeah.
White, yeah. Didn't she have a blue one?
Yeah, she had a blue one.
She had that red, white, that red, white, and blue one.
Yeah, that was.
She just recently had that stupid jacket. Thankfully, she's back to, not this exact original look, but a variation on this. All right, so that's my number 10. So,
good character.
We will head back to Mr. Uncle Gary, for number 9.
Number 9. Well, number 9 was tough. I had the Man of Steel in my number 9 spot. Had Superman in there. He's got to be represented, but I realized I forgot somebody. Got somebody important.
Oh man,
Travis Morgan, the Warlord.
Hell yeah,
the Warlord. Oh my goodness, And the reason I knew is because I was up in my library and I moved the Warlord omnibus, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't put Warlord in my list, and I had to add Travis Morgan.
That is the coolest costume design, isn't it?
Oh, it's just so cool. And he's got the 44 mag, and he's got the sword, and he's just badass Air Force pilot. And
big skull pauldron there.
Yeah, man. And Preacher hunts down God. Just ask. Yeah, you're right, Liz. Preacher was. And who turned you on to that book? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was me. So Travis Morgan,
love
his series. They just had the first omnibus finally released of Mike Grill's wonderful work on this character, and it's just badass and very, very much of a Spartacus vibe in the first several issues of this. He leads a revolt of slaves on Skartaris, on this inner Earth, and someone asked him, what can he offer them? He goes, what can I offer you? I offer you the chance to die free men. There you go, right there. I offer you the chance to die free men.
And what's great about him, he is definitely of the, Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter of Mars vein, the fish out of water in a world he didn't make, in a world that he has no idea what's going on, but he excels.
Well, and Mike Grill was heavily influenced by that. He was the Peculador. I can't remember the name. If there's an inner Earth in Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yeah.
And that's what he based this on. And Travis Morgan was a USAF pilot who was flying a Blackbird, a spy plane, and he crashed, and it went between in the poles. It went into this inner Earth from a entranceway in the poles, and they tied Skartaris to Atlantis, and so you had some interesting ties with the surface world through them. Just really rich tapestry. Demos was a great villain. Tara had Shakira. Before we had the singer Shakira, Mike Grill had Shakira on his.
She's was huge in the 70s, man. I mean, he had dolls, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Shakira is either a cat that changes into a woman
by Mattel.
Yep, or a woman that changes into a cat, and he never answered that. Grill does role play, and I think Mike Grill draws some of the most gorgeous women in comics.
I agree.
From his Legion work to when he briefly drew Aquaman, that was his first DC work. As Murrow was beautiful.
Legion was just beautiful.
Oh yeah, the female characters there, and then John Sable freelance. My goodness, Mike Blackman, the artist that Sable was dating, and his editor Eden Kendall. I mean, if you can fall in love with a drawing, I think I almost fell in love with Eden Kendall in that drawing. But I just think Mike Grill draws the most beautiful, and most of them are long-legged, just fantastically beautiful women. And his I mean, look, we all love Grill for the Longbow Hunters and his Green Arrow work and all. Just just a fabulous career, and really cool guy. We all three of us know him and have met him and have talked to him. We've interviewed him here on Codex, but Mike Grill, Warlord, go get that omnibus. It's worth it. I'm telling you. They finally collected it. Go reward him and get that book.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mobius, Dark Side. Yeah, that's a strong pick.
Dark Side. He's the best villain ever. He's the big bad.
Jack Kirby.
All right, so Chris, you want to go ahead and hit us with your number 9 pick, which I will say is the first repeat character of the night.
John Constantine would
there we
be
go.
Coming up on my number 9. I was reading Constantine back when Jamie Delano was writing him, and I loved his stories. Just so good.
Look at that.
This is a Fabry cover.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't love his work on Constantine? Everything about this character I love. He rides syncretic magic and just uses whatever means he needs to come out on top. He's an amazing character. He talked the 3 princes of hell into making him immortal because they couldn't let him die because he has signed a contract with each of the princes of hell, and if he dies, it's going to cause a war
in hell
over his soul. So
it's dangerous habits. Go pick that trade up.
And that was when he found out he had the big C.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll say this for
and they had to heal him
for live action. The casting of Matt Ryan to play him was just
brilliant.
On, and I just wish that he had been, because it was all on network TV that he played him, but he did so well that every time he's been in animation, they're like, "Well, just get Matt Ryan to do it." I would have loved to see him have the opportunity to do a proper dark Constantine without the limitations of network TV.
Well, that first
film.
The first season he did on NBC was in the 10 o'clock time slot, and it was dark, and it was good.
I remember watching it, and
I own it.
The beginning of the first half of the season was, to me, it was kind of bland, and then they announced they were canceling it, and then the second half of the season, like after they made that announcement, it seemed like the creators were, all right, well, we can do whatever we want now. They already canceled us. And then the second half of that season was just phenomenal. And then he was so good that another network, when they decided to use the character, like, well, we got to use him.
Yeah, the only thing is they made it a little silly at that point.
Yeah,
that was a silly show he was on.
Yeah, and he was on there. When he was on there, to me, he was really the only interesting, watchable character that was on there.
Now, can we all agree that while he's a phenomenal actor, Keanu Reeves was a horrible choice to play Constantine in the film?
Okay, I'm going to digress from that. Here's what I'm going to say. I think what was really horrible was the fact that Constantine was not, a Brit. And that's very important to the character.
It's extremely important.
I will say this. If you had to Americanize the character, I think the only way to do it was to make him an LA noir detective. And I think I would
agree with you.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool, I would have rather had him as the Brit that we all know and love. Yeah. But if you're going to make him an American, you make him a noir detective, and like in a 1940s gangster flick, that kind of guy. And I thought Reeves did a good job with the script.
An okay job. He has a hard time losing that LA surfer cadence.
Well, he does, but
it's Dracula, dude.
But
excellent.
But he was in LA, so he's going to have some of that. So that saved it. So I didn't hate the Constantine movie. I
didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I just don't think that he was the best choice.
And I think the problem, I don't think anything to do with that is Reeves' fault. it's the fault that they wanted to make it Americanize it.
Oh,
But
it's not Reeve's fault at all.
no, I still like it. I still like it a lot. And I'll give you a really cool Matt Ryan story. Somebody I know says he went to a con that Matt Ryan was at a con, and he walks up to their booth and he goes, "Hey, you got any books with me in it?"
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I'll say this about the Constantine movie, and I haven't seen it in a long. I haven't really seen it since it came out, and I remember the time I think of it like kind of like when DC did in New 52, and they got rid of the JSA, but they did Earth 2. I like Earth 2 for what it is. I don't like it taking the place of the Justice Society, but I like it as its own thing. I think of Constantine like that. I like Constantine as its own thing, the movie as its own thing, without being, separating it from, from the comic character. No, like, all right, this isn't accurate to the comic, but if I just set this aside and just think of this as its own separate thing, I can enjoy it.
It's one of those movies where if you forget everything that you know about the source material, it's actually a fine film.
Yeah, Reeves acting is very hit or miss. Like in the first John Wick, he is spot on. And then the next couple after that, his performance is very stiff. Bill and Ted, obviously it's comedic. If you want to see a good movie that he does a really good job in, even though it's a small part of this movie called The Gift, that
yes.
Who was it? I think it was a Sam.
Kate Blanchett and Katie Holmes were in that.
Yeah, Katie Holmes and Sam Rockwell was in it, and Keanu Reeves has a small part, but it's an excellent part where he plays this like Katie Holmes' abusive husband.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not at all what you would think of Keanu Reeves because he's the nicest guy in the world. But he, again, his performances in movies are very hit or miss, and that one was definitely.
A Walk in the Clouds is good.
Don't forget Speed.
Speed is good. It's fun.
Speed co-starring Sandra Bullock, who I went to high school with.
That's awesome.
And then but then he also did Dracula, which was like, no,
it's a vampire, dude.
Yeah.
No, he was really good in Point Break.
I liked him in Johnny Utah.
It's one of my favorite.
His new movie that's coming out looks pretty
Mr.
good.
Buttered Sausage on there.
His new one that's coming out looks pretty good, where he's the angel. Yeah, Gift is just.
Gift was Blanchett was amazing in The Gift.
She's a phenomenal actor. She's just so good.
Yeah. All right, moving on from Keanu Reeves, we're going to my number 9 pick, and I'm surprised that he didn't make. Not so much surprised he didn't make Gary's list. Somewhat surprised he didn't make your list, Chris, and that is old Carter Hall.
Now he was. Now I told you the JSA man. I can swap him out at any time.
Yeah. I just, I've always dug Hawkman. Other than the fact he's just got a fantastic look. Though sometimes the way the helmet is drawn is, sometimes great, sometimes not. But an awesome look. The mace is badass. I like the idea of him being, this gruff, angry warrior guy, but he's also incredibly intelligent. I like the archaeologist aspect to him because it plays into all of the past lives.
It's fantastic.
Again, member of the JSA, leader of the JSA, member of the Justice League. His relationship with Shiara, just all around awesome. And it's always fun watching him, get into it with Green Arrow. And those were just,
He's a great character.
Do you like him better as Thanagarian or as you like him better as Katar or as Carter?
See, that's the only thing I don't like about him is his, his origin is just
Robert Venditti fixed it.
Venditti fixed it, but even Venditti fixing it was still, it wasn't perfect. Like it was, he did a good job of tying it all together, but I don't know. I think I probably like the idea best of him, being, the him and Shira, the stuff of them being in Egypt, and then being cursed to be reincarnated throughout the years.
Yeah,
For me, the Thanagarian stuff is cool, but for me, the reincarnation thing throughout the years, because of that and the way that it ties it to
what?
Oh, excuse me.
Goodness. You got some on the screen there. There's a little.
The way it ties it, to other characters, and it's Black Adam's kind of in there too. That I really dig that. Though the Thanagarian stuff is cool too.
Well, Vendetti fixed it so that he was reincarnated across time and space.
Yeah.
So.
Now, was that Vendetti in the Hawkman series? And was that?
Yes, that was him that wrote that fantastic JSA issue.
Yeah, that the last arc on it was with the JSA in that series, wasn't it? Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, and you have those issues, right, Chris?
Yes, I do.
At Baltimore, I got him to sign that one issue just because, and it's it's like like $2-3 book at best. I love that JSA cover on it.
I asked him. I said, man, would you ever write JSA? He said, I'd love to write JSA. So
really,
that'd
be awesome.
Lemire's doing a good job at Vendetti.
He really is.
And Vendetti did a hell of a job on the Freedom Fighters.
Oh,
yes, he did.
I think I got him to sign that too.
Think so too.
He did.
All right, so we are up to number 8. So, Gary, the floor is yours for your number 8. I believe is another
JSA member.
JSA member.
There you go, baby.
Yeah,
the champ, Ted Grant. Wildcat is just the man. And, he wasn't in that many JSA issues. So they have, when they've revamped the league or the JSA, especially under the Johns run, they expanded his role in it. And thank goodness they did, because, he is just a wonderful, fantastic character. I love the legacy of him training so many JSA and Justice League members to box. I love the fact that Batman, went to Ted Grant and Wildcat for pointers. And I keep looking for the 80th anniversary, the 80th Green Arrow anniversary one shot. And I haven't found it yet. And he's been looking too. Because I told him there's like 4 phenomenal stories in there, including Grill's first work on the Arrow in years. The tribute to Denny O'Neil that had balloons in it, but images in the word balloons, no words, just images. And it was a great tribute to Denny O'Neil. And then there's the great story of Green Arrow, Black Canary sending Oliver Queen to Ted Grant to give him some pointers, and he was wondering why she was sending him to an old man. The old man whooped his ass.
Wasn't it when he was walking out? Was it like
awesome.
Batman walking in, like Batman was walking out and said something to him?
How's the Arrow Cave?
Yeah.
With some snarking, Green Arrow got pissed off, and then he's wondering why is Batman walking out of here? Yeah, and then
the great thing about him too is he's just a normal dude that will throw down with anyone. He'll throw down with a gun. He does not care.
There was a great. Let's see, Helena Wayne.
Hunt
Can have a baby. Oh. Yep. She grows up to be a vigilante. What's not to love? I hear you. I like that. Mobius. Look, I love Lobo too. I didn't want to upset Richard though. Yeah,
I do like Lobo. He's awesome.
I love Lobo.
Green Arrow.
I see Lobo and Supergirl. The more I see of it, the more I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Oh, I know. So there was a great storyline where Wildcat was in Birds of Prey. Look at the notes I scratched. Oh, hey, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Aquaman. Pam, you keep him on your list. A great Birds of Prey arc. Black Canary was going undercover in, I don't know if it was in Singapore, somewhere, one of the far Asian cities, with meeting the crime lords. And these crime lords had these 10 brothers that were these great martial artists. And they were enforcers and their bodyguards. And Dinah was pretending to be an American arms dealer. And Wildcat was like her bodyguard. And they kept dissing, Wildcat for being just or Ted Grant, just for being a big muscle head and this and that, right? So when but he couldn't blow his cover and show things. But when finally push came to shove and it was time to show who he was knocking these dudes out left and right. These great martial artists found out that he wasn't just some over-muscled American goon, that man had some skills. And so it was awesome. Really great that these great martial artists were getting their asses handed to them by the champ. So,
man, I love Wildcat.
Yeah, and I kind of dig the supernatural aspect where he had the 9 lives.
I like that too.
And I will say this, to the best of my knowledge, they've never told the story of how he got that, right? He just kind of offhand mentioned, I think it was in
they seem to have forgotten about it.
It was that JLA issue, right? When they brought the Justice Society back before they got their own book again, and everyone thought he died, and he came back, and they're like, what happened to you? He's like, oh, cats get 9 lives. And like, when have you had that? And he goes, since like 1956. But they've never really told the story.
No, they haven't.
How he got it. I'd love to see that story told one day.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Well, in the current issues of JSA, he's had some tragedy befall him, where he hasn't come back. But I'm hoping he does,
I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I'll say for, if they ever do him in live action, a lot of people are fan casting this actor, that actor for Batman. And one of them that was popular for a while was people picking Alan Ritchson to play him. And he certainly played his fair share of superheroes. He was Hawk in the Titan show. He's was
a big dude.
He was, Aquaman in Smallville. He's Jack Reacher. And then I think he came out and said, he's like, no, I'm not going to be Batman. I'm talking to him about a grittier role. And I was like, that's a big dude. He'd be a pretty good Wildcat.
He would be.
The dude in Stargirl that played him was pretty big.
Yeah.
Was a bruiser. Chris, you remember that, right?
What's that? What? Huh?
Stargirl.
Wasn't it Lou Ferrigno's son that played him?
Was it? I don't know. In Stargirl, somebody played Wildcat that was big and burly.
So, Lou Ferrigno's
son. You mean no, that wasn't Ferrigno's son. You mean the adult Wildcat, the one that died. Yep. On the show.
Right.
Because Yolanda was the Wildcat.
Right. One of the JSA members.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
Yeah, he was
big. Grizzled too, gray.
Yeah, very grizzled.
Yeah, he was a perfect Wildcat.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I did too.
I love him.
I'd have to look at, but I know
bring that up.
I know Ferrigno's son played maybe it was
he played Our Man.
Our Man, yeah.
He played Our Man.
Yeah.
Ferrigno's son was Our Man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not the teenage one, the older one. Yeah.
I thought it was the teenage one.
No, it was the adult one.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're up to Chris for your number 8 pick.
My number 8 pick, coincidentally enough, is Stargirl.
And we're just gonna stay on the JSA then.
Look at that.
I love Stargirl. I just think she is a fantastic, positive character. I can't see enough of her in the JSA. I wish she was up front more often. And she has grown from just kind of a pain in the ass brat of a character to a leader. And I can't wait to see what the future has to hold for her. And show her first appearance here.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
I was thinking about the other day, I was like, I'd have to look into it. I was like, but I might have every appearance that she's been in because I've got her whole series. I've got all the issues of JSA and Justice Society. I've got the Justice League book that she was in New 52. I have to check to see if I have all the issues of that. But I've got that. All the crossovers she's been in, I was like, I think I've read all of them. I have to look at it if I can find some list of all the books she's been in. But if I don't have all of her appearances, I've got just about all of them.
I've got a ton of them. I still need issue 3 and what is it, 14 and 15 or 13?
I think it's 13 to 14.
Yeah, and of her series, and I did not get any of. Well, I did, but I no longer have her in the Justice League that she was in. But I do have all her JSA appearances.
But even this book, the summer one.
Yeah.
Is this
It's French,
Is this a Spanish cover?
or it's either Spanish or French.
I do believe it's Spanish.
Okay.
I didn't even notice that. But yeah, the summer special was a cool book, and then the mini series after it was really cool too.
He had to go. He had to go to Tijuana to get that book.
I did.
He was down there to see a show, and he got.
It was a donkey show.
It was a donkey show.
But yeah, you're right. She's a great character, and it's been cool watching her, watching her character grow over the years.
That's why I'm so fascinated with her. It's the ability to watch her arc.
Yeah,
from being a teenager to growing up, much like a lot of the early Spider-Man work. Where you watched him grow from this super nerdy teenager into a super nerdy grown.
Well, and again, we always should acknowledge that this character is created as a tribute to Jeff Johns' sister, who tragically passed away in
the airplane
the airplane crash that was over England or off the coast. And,
I think that might also be the reason why I really connect with the character.
Yeah, so
there's
Jeff
an emotional feel to the character. Yeah.
There is.
And you mentioned earlier Power Girl had her own JSA team, and when she did it, she picked Stargirl to be on the team. And one of the first issues, they're all inside trying to come up with a name for the team, and she's sitting off on her own on the roof, and Power Girl goes to talk to her, and she's asking, "Is like, why did you pick me? You've got Damage, and you've got all these really powerful characters, and other people, like, why did you pick me?" And Power Girl explains to her, like, this isn't going to work without you. All of these heroes look up to you. And then even when they're training, some of them say it, and like Citizen Steel, and some of them she kind of questions, like, why do they look up to me? Like, they're the adults, I'm the kid. And Power Girl tells her, like, you've been doing this longer than they have, and they see the mark that you've made. That just that shows how influential the character is becoming.
She is absolutely one of the finest legacy characters that Johns has created for the JSA.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So for my number 8 pick, we're going to go a little bit on the darker side here, and we're going to show the first villain of the night, and that is.
Ooh, great villain.
Who's that?
He's the funny guy.
One of the greatest villains in comics, one of the greatest arch enemies in comics.
He really is.
Yep.
Just as iconic as Batman is, and for me, I prefer a Joker that doesn't have a definitive origin. And I know that when he first that like early on when he kind of first appeared, they were like, oh, it's the Red Hood gang stuff and that. But it wasn't really a solid origin. It didn't tell you a whole lot, and I like that, different creators over the years have thrown a little bit of different stuff in there. Like Alan Moore had the stuff in Killing Joke, and, even though I wasn't a fan story-wise of Three Jokers, even though I love the art. I like it kind of the way Heath Ledger explained it in, when he played the character in The Dark Knight, and each person he tells a different origin to. And I think that's how the Joker works best, is that you don't know his real identity. You don't know who he is and why he's doing this. He's really just chaos incarnate, and he is... when Alfred says some people don't care about money, they just want to see the world burn. That's the Joker. He doesn't, he's not like a lot of the other Batman villains where he wants power, or he wants, money, or he wants notoriety. He just is chaos for the sake of chaos.
Well, in The Dark Knight, he only burned his half the money.
Yeah.
I'm just burning my half. Yep.
Look for have a good night.
Bye, Liz.
All right, Liz. Bye.
I like the Cesar Romero thing that when they cast him as the Joker, he wouldn't shave his mustache, so they just painted over his mustache, but it was clear that it was still there.
Yeah,
fantastic. I think the Joker. Now, see, I ended up not putting any villains on my list because my list was brimming with so many people I wanted to add. So I made it easy for myself to say, well, I'm not going to have any villains, but the Joker would have been definitely my top villain. I think the Joker is probably the greatest villain in comics.
I have one other villain on my list, but yeah, and honestly, outside of like the first like 2 or 3 on my list, a lot of these characters, at least for me, are kind of interchangeable. Like I might have one at 7, but could easily be 3 or 4, But yeah, he's a fantastic villain, and like I said, for me personally, the way he works best is when he is just, when he is just chaos.
Yeah. I love the Joker. He's just so awesome.
Yes.
He's unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do.
Well, in the DCKO, they brought back a version of him, the Emperor Joker version, and that was a version of the Joker that was powered by Mxyzptlk. So he had the magic powers of Mxyzptlk, and that he had created an alternate whatever the hell he wanted Jokerverse. That was scary as hell because if he thought it would become reality.
And I like that one episode of Batman the Animated Series. For me, whenever I read a comic that has Batman and Joker in it, the Batman voice I hear in my head when I'm reading the dialogue is Kevin Conroy. The Joker voice I hear is Mark Hamill, and that's how it is. It's how it's always going to be. They're the definitive ones for me. But that one episode of the animated series where like the normal everyday guy kind of ran afoul of him, and Joker kept his license, like, I'm going to need a favor from you one day, and the guy like lived in fear over the years, and and then it ended up being something kind of innocuous that he wanted from him. Just great. All right, so we are on to number 7, and that means we are on to Gary's pick for number 7.
Well, this guy in the old taglines for his book, it said, "Death and the acrid smell of gunfire followed him everywhere he went." So we're going the Old West, baby, Jonah Hex.
Damn, that's an awesome picture, man.
Yeah, that's a hell of a.
That is awesome, man.
That one, and then there was a great Darwin Cook when I was really debating. So
who did funny. That? Is that Corbin?
I don't think that's Corbin. Shit, I can't remember right now. I don't think it's Corbin, but that is.
I'll look it up real quick.
That is cool.
So, Jonah Hex, just what a great character. Former Confederate, disillusioned, by what he saw there. I believe, I think the origins, he left the Confederate Army. He did not stay. He was.
Yep, Richard Corbin.
Yeah, okay, it is Corbin. Look at you, Chris.
I love Corbin, man. He's one of my favorites.
You sure did. I did not think that was Corbin. Wow. Well,
it's the hands.
Okay. All right. Well,
the shadows and the hands.
I bet Chris might have to look for that cover now. Yeah. That's just a great book. Jonah Hex, Palmiotti, and Justin Gray. They wrote some of the greatest Hex stories. But I just love him. He's total anti-hero. He's a bounty hunter, and he's not above killing. He's not above killing those that deserve it. He doesn't kill the innocent.
Oh, what he did to his dad. Whew.
Woodson, one of you talk about one of the most sadistic. Oh yeah. Hex made my legs. Nice, Pam. Nice, Pam. You and I, simpatico. That's awesome. Yeah. Who else we got? Vandal Savage. Oh, that's
Vandal Savage. One of my favorites.
Vandal Savage is a great character, Mobius.
Yeah.
But Jonah Hex, with my love of westerns.
Yeah.
This is a pretty damn badass character. So
he's a great character.
Yeah, that's the Darwin Cook one. I almost
that awesome.
Yep.
Remark that Palmiotti did for me 2 years
ago. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even ask him to do it.
Yep. I've got the big New 52 volume of them collected in one big book, and
that's such a good story.
Yep,
I was getting that then.
Yep, Palmiotti said anybody brings him that book, he's drawn in it. So I'm like, can't wait to see him.
Yeah, he said on the interview, one of the interviews he did with us, he said, if anybody's going to lug that around to a convention and bring it to me to sign, I'm going to draw something in it for him.
That's cool.
One of the cool, they have monkeyed around with him and brought him to Modern Times and things like that. And they had
that future one was.
Well, I didn't like the future one. I didn't like Hex, the future one, but they had him in Modern Times, and they had him. He was in Metropolis, and there was a bank robbery, I think, had gone awry. These punks were shooting up innocent people and things like that. And before Superman could get on the scene, Hex was there, and these punks had high-powered automatic weapons. Hex had his 6-shooters. Boom, 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 boom. And each shot was a kill shot. Just taking them out.
Dang.
And it brings to mind the thing, right? So we have modern bad guys that will just spray everything, right, with their guns. You take a dude from the old West that, when the gunfighters, they were masters of spatial. They would aim spatially. They wouldn't bring the gun up and sight it. They just had it spatially.
Yeah, they hip fire.
Right. They fire from the hip, and they would have the accuracy. So Hex is taking those guys out right there, awesome. And look, that's a whole lot quicker than bringing it up and shooting, right? Yeah. He's just from the hip shooting, and he's just taking these dudes out. And Superman was kind of appalled that he had all these kill shots, but should have got here sooner.
Yeah, okay. Where were you?
Yeah, where were you? Them varmints need to be put down. I just love his sense of morality, and he is a harsh dispenser of frontier justice.
Oh yeah.
There was one of my badass moments when we did the Hex episode was he had a dog. I think he had a dog that was that accompanied him on some adventures, right? And the dog got hurt, got shot. And he's trying to bring the dog into a doctor's office to get it worked on. And the doctor and the dudes in the office weren't having it. They didn't want the animal in there in the hospital. So he threw everybody out the window except the doctor. And the doctor decided, yeah, he'd work on that dog. And it was a 2-story window. So it was just awesome. Bottom floor. He threw them all out the window.
He is a very interesting character.
Oh, he's a great character.
He really is. It's fantastic.
All right, we'll talk about another fantastic character. Why don't you tell us about your number 7 pick, Chris?
I chose Psycho Pirate. It's the only villain I had. And I chose the Golden Age and the modern versions because I like them both so much. It's just something about being able to control other people's emotions that's quite frightening. And he every time you see him in a modern book, he's a pretty scary character.
I agree.
The Golden Age character who first appeared in here.
Oh.
No, look at that.
Nice.
Look how beautiful that book is.
He was interesting after Crisis because he was really the only one left that remembered what it was before Crisis, and it just drove him insane.
Oh, yeah. That's why I like him. The Golden Age character was really kind of like he worked. His ability to control people's emotion was through his print. In other words, he did like yellow journalism, and just to make people mad through the printing that he did. It was just he didn't have any powers or anything like that. But here is the first appearance of the modern
Roger Hayden.
Nice. Yeah, Roger Hayden. My favorite. He's awesome. Yeah. He's a lot of fun. He's the only villain I chose too.
Liz sent me her pick. For number 7, she picked Trinity, Lizzie Trevor, daughter of Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. She wields all 3 lassos, can travel through time and interact with herself. She loves Jason Todd, and she said, okay, it might be a teen crush, but remember how real that young love felt. She had Jason save her father from the river Styx. So
she also loves corgis.
Yeah. So we're sliding into me.
I like Trinity. I like Trinity a lot.
She's new to me. I've never.
Yeah, it's just a character in the past couple of years they've created.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
So for my number 7 pick is a pick that I know is going to be reappearing elsewhere on someone else's list, but I'm gonna guess it's going to be much higher, and that is
Aquaman. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. It's gonna be
King
much
of the
higher.
Seven Seas.
Non-comic fans, look at Aquaman for years and looked at him as kind of a joke, but thanks to Super Friends. But anybody that's actual comic reader knows this guy was always badass, and there's a reason that he was a founding member of the Justice League, and potentially the most powerful member of the Justice League when you factor in the powers he has and the fact that he rules Atlantis and has all of the Atlantean military and warriors and everything at his disposal.
Yep.
His costume is awesome too. I love that orange and green. It just looks so cool together.
Yeah, it's a costume that, I know you've said it before about other characters. It's a costume that shouldn't work, but it does, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it's beautiful. Yeah,
and it's interesting seeing him, as a member, balancing his time as a member of the Justice League, as a ruler of Atlantis, as someone that really truly just wants to live in his lighthouse with his wife and his kid and just be left alone.
I like that shot that you chose too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, from Ivan Reyes.
Yeah. And I considered that shot too. That was from Aquaman #1, the new 52.
Yeah. That is cool.
It is.
I love the background on that.
All right, so we're at number 6. So I think that's up to you now, Gary, for your number 6 pick. I think we're taking a trip back to the future.
Yep, we're going back to the future. The Legion, Pam. We're giving some Legion love to the leader.
Yes.
What was he the permanent leader of, Chris?
He was the permanent leader of the squad, the infiltrating squad. I can't remember what it was called.
The Legion Espionage Squad.
Yes, the Espionage Squad.
Chameleon Boy, Reap Daggle from Durham. Reap Daggle.
Son.
There we go. He's Batman, Spider-Man 1, Nightwing. There you go. Reap Daggle, the permanent leader of the Legion Espionage Squad. So with the Legion, what I thought was always cool is, everybody's got their own lane in the Legion, right? You got your powerhouses, you got your precogs, you have your energy-based, heroes. You have your and then you have a whole nother bunch of heroes like Shadowlass, Phantom Girl, Shrinking Violet, heroes that can do some stealthy things. Cardi Aquaman is absolutely gorgeous. So I like
love Dead Man.
Yeah, the Boston brand. So Chameleon Boy though leads this unit, the espionage unit, and he's also quite a detective. So you had Brainiac 5 that was the big brain, the inventor that does, all these, brilliant things, created the flight rings and, does all these other things. But Chameleon Boy is the detective on the team. And one of my favorite issues, I believe it was Superboy and the Legion, gosh, it was 237 or 239. Ultra Boy looks like he's murdered somebody and the Legion is after him. And Chameleon Boy, Ultra Boy gets away from all of them, but not him. And he goes, he couldn't believe that the Cham, they call him, his nickname was Cham, C-H-A-M. And he said, how you found me? He goes, well, I'm the leader of the espionage squad. How do you think I found you? He goes, but I'm not convinced that you're guilty. And, and he pressed him for information and he says, I'm going to get on it. And he figured out the frame, who was framing him and how he was being framed. And it was an insidious plot within the Legion. One of their members had been compromised, and he finds all this out. And Ultra Boy, Starlin wrote and drew this issue too. It was really great. Ultra Boy tells him, Channel, I'll never forget what you did for me when everybody else believed I, was a killer. Because I think there's video evidence of it that had been
there
altered. Was. And he said, I'll never forget that you you didn't jump to conclusions, and that you saved me. And so it was just great. And it was a great part of unraveling the greater mystery. What else was going on here?
It's a good story.
It's a great story. It's a single issue story. So did you keep that book, Chris, or did you let
I have it. I have it collected.
Oh, collected. Yeah, so it's a great story.
I have the 3 Silver Age omnibuses, and then the 2 Levitt's
gotcha.
books.
I know what you're talking about. So just Chameleon Boy, really cool, and he was pivotal in the Great Darkness saga. You know, he made an error, and he had to pay for the error, and then they put him on the space prison track on Galatos, I believe it was, something to that effect. And then even there, is a hero. Saves the day, and it's really cool that his powers are, the founder of the Legion, R.J. Brand, ends up being the father of a Legionnaire. And you find out that he's, I know, spoiler alert, it's been 30 years since I revealed it. He's Reap Daggle's father, that he was a Durlan, and he had changed into humanoid form, but there was a disease that has strikes some of them, and they get frozen in whatever form they're in, and he got frozen in that form as R.J. Brand. So
that was a great story. That wasn't that a mini?
Yes, Secrets of the Legion. Yeah.
That was,
and it was cool. And it was a cool reveal because you're trying to think, okay, who could his kid be? And you wouldn't think of Chameleon Boy because he's not human.
Yeah, it totally surprised me.
Yeah, so it was a great ending. But Reap Daggle, Chameleon Boy, permanent leader of the Legion Espionage Squad. Oh, and he was the Espionage Squad had one of my favorite Superman runs ever was the Man of Tomorrow run, where he goes back to Kandor, and he becomes like a security official there, and it's just this great run, and he is back and forth from Metropolis, and that the Legion espionage has infiltrated Metropolis PD to head off a threat, and there's a great reveal of the Espionage Squad members in that too. So Jeff Johns was writing that again. He's got a great love of the Legion too.
Well, I mean, Johns, man. Everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're down to Chris's number 6 pick, so we're going all the way from the far, far future to the golden age of the past.
Yep, we're going with Sandman, Wesley Dodds.
Oh, great.
I love this character. He is everything that is, noir, New York detective. He's just so awesome, even though he was in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
But he just has that feel. He is one of the bridges between pulp and radio heroes to comic book superheroes. I just think he's fantastic, and I really liked the Sandman Mystery Theater series that I just finished a while ago.
I will say, there was, as bad as the art in that was, and it's just really terrible.
Horrendous.
The story is great. He did make one of the best updates to a Golden Age costume, where he took away the opera cape and gave him the trench coat. The modern, the actual realistic gas mask compared to this one. I'm good with either one of those, but giving him the trench coat, I thought was just brilliant.
It was a step up.
Yeah, just an awesome,
It's just a great character design. I like him.
Yeah.
I noticed you didn't have the purple and gold suit.
No.
All right. Well, for Liz, she sent me hers. Her number 6 pick is Black Canary, singer, inherited powers and skills from mom, a JSA member, married to Green Arrow, awesome power. Yeah, Black Canary is
a great character.
Yeah, a great choice.
So for my number 6 pick, we are going with another founding member of the Justice League, and that is John Jones, the Martian Man.
Oh, great character.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like of all the Justice League founding members, he's the one that I think gets the least respect. He has had an ongoing series, but it didn't last real long, a couple years. Not not the long run that that a lot of the other characters have had, but to me, he's the heart of the Justice League.
Yes,
I agree.
He's been in more incarnations of the Justice League than anyone else. He's
and for a while there, he was in every incarnation. Sorry,
yeah, no, you're good. You're right. Yeah, he was in every incarnation of it, up to a point, and even though he's an alien, he's a Martian. The way he strives to understand humanity and be a part of it, I think, is really great. And everybody looks at Superman as the most powerful one. Like, I look at Martian Manhunter as he's got all the power Superman has, and then on top of that, he's got telepathy, and he could shape change and turn invisible and intangible. Like, he's got everything Superman has, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And when they did that storyline in JLA, when he got kind of taken over by the Martian god,
the fire demon, or something.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
And Superman even said something like, if he was something to the effect of he was the JLA member he would least want to go against, because he's the one that would have the most chance of beating him.
Absolutely. Especially with his psionics.
Yeah. So that is my number 6. So we're down to number.
That was a nice piece that you chose too. That was really cool.
I know, isn't it? I love that.
I love the color on that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The pose, the way he's floating there, the way the cape is, the colors behind him, the way the lighting's coming in,
it's really well done.
That's fantastic. It was an alternate cover for one of his books. I just forget which one.
Oh.
All right, Gary. So we are at number 5.
All right, number 5. We're going Vertigo. We're going my favorite non-superhero comic ever is Preacher. And you're looking at Jesse Custer, and you're looking at Steve Dillon's art. I just love the lighting the cigarette, taking the smoke, little mild curse, Jesus Christ, and just the look in his face, that faraway look of a man that's plotting and planning. Jesse Custer, such a badass character, so cool. Preacher is a modern day Western, is what it was. Talking about a man with a code who's had a hard life, hard upbringing, and Jesse Custer sees visions of John Wayne. So how can I not love this character? So I love this book. It ran 66 regular issues. There were some minis in there too. There's one shot, but it tells a story. It tells a story, and then it rides off into the sunset. So it is my, Garth Ennis's great writing, Steve Dillon's art.
Dillon's art really shown on that series.
I think so too. Very
that and Hellblazer.
Yeah, and he had very evocative. His emotional, the emotional, and it was also funny at times.
Yeah,
Preacher could be funny, over the top, funny, but
the issues. I wish I'd have read the whole thing. I never really got the chance.
You never read the whole thing?
No, I had the first collected.
All right, I have them all, so I can lend them to you. It's worth reading. So Preacher, Jesse Custer. Again, all I have to say is my favorite non-superhero comic ever. So, and Jesse Custer, he's a man with a code. The episode of him at the Vietnam Veterans Wall is just one of the greatest single issues I've ever read. His father was a Vietnam veteran, and he runs across one of his Marine buddies, and it's just one of his father's buddies, and he learns stories about his father that he never knew, because his father was killed in front of him when he was a young lad. And so just wonderful story, wonderful series, and Jesse Custer, baby.
Nice.
I'd like to read that.
I've read it like 4 or 5 times, and each time I read it, I get a different I get a few different things. Yeah, you need to read it, Chris. You need to read it.
I did want to show this when we were talking about Sandman. This is his first Silver Age appearance.
Yeah. That was
in this horrible 1967
Batmania craze.
It's so bad.
I know.
All right, well, Chris, you want to tell us what your number 5 pick is?
My number 5 is Mr. Terrific. Michael Holt. He is just one of my favorite legacy characters. I like that Johns took a JSA character that, you know, when he was murdered, people really didn't care that he was murdered. I mean, he wasn't the most popular of JSA characters.
If Mr. Terrific had not, I think it was 2 issues of All-Star Comics he was in, right?
Yeah, wasn't in much. Yeah.
Yeah, if he was not, someone made a good point. If Mr. Terrific hadn't been in those 2 issues of All-Star Comics, he would have just been another, you know, he has a cool enough suit and, you know, idea and all that, but without that, he would have just been another forgotten Golden Age character.
Yeah, yeah. And I love what Johns did with him. I love Michael Holt. I love his power set. His only power is that he can't be seen by or tracked by electrical devices, isn't it?
Yeah.
By electrical devices, cameras.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And he's just a genius. He's what, the 3rd smartest man on the planet?
Yep.
And his costume is just fantastic.
I know, man. That jacket is so cool.
I just love what they did with him. So he's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'd even say he's terrific.
Yes.
He might.
You could say
terrific.
that.
Yeah. And here is
the
first appearance, and that is a Corbin cover.
Yes, it is.
That's the first appearance of
that is the most expensive issue in that.
Terrific.
You got a nice.
What did you think of his live action appearance? You know, we had him in live action in Arrow, and a very different version in Superman.
Now, I did not see him in Arrow, but not
missing anything.
I loved the Superman version.
Wasn't he? I love when he's like, I can help you. He's like, I don't need your help. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
Yes.
He's just awesome. He's great.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of him.
I remember when I saw when they announced the actor that played him, and I was like, he's playing Mr. Terrific? Like, I don't know about that, because I remembered him playing Darwin and a couple other things I'd seen him in. I was like, I just don't see him in that. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, okay, yeah.
He was good.
I want that jacket.
Yeah. And he had the perfect arrogance, too. Yeah.
He did. He's great, and he knows it.
Yeah.
And even like when they're going to take the ship and the door is coming up real slow, and Lois just kind of looks at me. She's like, you built this spaceship and you couldn't get the door to open faster. He's like, I just haven't gotten to it yet. And when he says he's going to help her, and he's like, I'm just doing it to piss off Green Lantern.
That was funny, because they were just waiting for that door to open. They're like,
yes. That seemed very accurate. He's just like, I just haven't gotten to it yet. And the little post-credit scene when him and Superman are standing in front of the building.
Yeah.
Back at it.
Superman's kind of giving him a little shit for not being exact.
And he just gets mad and walks off. So for Liz, going to her list for her number 5 pick, she said Poison Ivy, Gotham City Siren, enough said.
Yep.
For my number 5 pick, I had to go with the one that started it all.
Yep.
Superman.
Can't go wrong with Superman.
Nope.
You know, he is...
Is that Super Smurf?
He is the... I mean, I don't even think it's arguable. He's the most iconic comic book character there is. He's one of the most... Not even just that. He is one of the most iconic pop culture characters there is. You put him right up there alongside characters like James Bond, classic literary characters. You go anywhere in the world outside of, some of those like, tribes that live in the jungle that have never interacted with mankind, and live isolated lives. But other than those, you go anywhere in the world and you show them that S logo, everybody knows what it is.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
absolutely.
He's, technically not, you could say technically not the first superhero. You could point to like Doc Savage or the Phantom or something, but let's be real. He was the one that really started it all. He's the icon. There are so many great stories that have been around him. And, I know people, some people say, oh, he's boring, he's too overpowered. But, when the stories are just right, it's just perfect. Like if you read Grant Morrison's, his Superman book, the All-Star Superman, it's just absolutely perfect. And I love the new Superman movie. I was not shy about saying that we lost Gary for a second.
Did I come back?
Yeah. I was not shy about saying I wasn't sure, confident that James Gunn would be able to hit the right tone for Superman. I'm glad that I was wrong. It was so nice to see, and I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think that, I think he would have been great if given better material. And I did like, for the most part, I liked the Man of Steel movie, but it was so nice to see a hopeful, inspiring Superman on the big screen again. And I'll tell people too, for all the Arrowverse shows, the absolute best one, in my opinion, was Superman and Lois. And, the way
that was fantastic.
The way Tyler Hoechlin played Superman and Clark is just, I can't highly recommend watching that show enough. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? He's Superman.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. He hate Bizarro.
Me hate Bizarro. Me
exactly.
Love Bizarro.
Exactly.
Me love Bizarro.
He's the archetype. And yeah, Christopher Reeves just.
Me love Bizarro as much as me love Robbie Reed and Doiby Dickles.
All right, so we are
Doiby Dickles, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Doiby Dickles.
So we're at the top 4 now. So Gary,
that may be the worst thing you ever did, Chris, to me.
Gary, for your number 4 pick, we have.
Well, we went from the icon of Big Blue to another icon that is known in the remote tribes of Borneo. We know what that symbol is on that chest. It's Batman, Bruce Wayne. I think one of the greatest.
God, I love him.
Oh, one of the greatest. Here we go. Green Lantern, Flash, Wonder, Joker, Kilowog. Kilowog's strong.
Nice.
Awesome.
Court of Owls, Marsh Manhunter. I like that list.
That's a good list.
Just damn it. Yeah. Chris put Doiby Dickles in as his honorable mention to devil me because he's an. Yeah. Yeah, I do like, and I did like Kyle Rayner's take on Green Lantern with his constructs were very artsy. John Stewart's were very
cool.
Mechanical because he was an architect. Yeah, just really, really cool ideas. But
Jordan makes boxing gloves and jet
and Kilowog's is the only one that makes a sound. It sizzles, which is pretty cool. But Batman, Bruce Wayne, the Dark Knight of Gotham. What a great Gothic character he was, as created by Bob Kane with mega help from Bill Finger, who also changed the coloring of the costume, thank God.
If you see the original design of Batman, if that is what they would have gone with, if that's what they would have gone with the character, he would have been a forgotten, been a forgotten Golden Age character that we would see popping up like occasionally in the background of like All-Star Squad.
And he had the possibility of being called Birdman.
Yeah, that's right. It was not good. But the Joker, see, and part of what makes the Batman so great, Mobius, I agree with you, is one day we'll probably do a top 10 rogues gallery. but for me, Batman's Rogues Gallery is the best, bar none, in comics. And
it is.
And I agree, Joe. Too many Earth Green Lanterns.
Yeah, the villains that Batman squares off again are so great. Yeah, the Bob Kane design.
It was awful.
Was awful. So Bill Finger, thanks to him to help sort out that Bob Kane thing. And then also, like I always say this a million times, I'm going to say it every damn time. For those of you that are fans of the modern day Batman, you owe a huge, huge debt to Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams for bringing Batman out of the silly 60s, like that cover Chris showed of JLA, pow, bam, sock. And Batman was huge on all the covers. The 60s TV show made Batman into a cultural icon, but a silly one, a very silly one. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams brought him back to a gothic creature of the night. What they did, they sent Robin off to college, and they made him a solo hero again. And then the iconic Batman 251, where the Joker's holding the playing card and Batman's strapped to it, the giant Joker is, that was the first time the Joker had been used in years in the comics. And Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams made him absolutely, positively murderous. So in it, the Joker went to jail, did time because somebody in his former gang squealed on him. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, baby. Somebody squealed on him, one of the 5 guys. So Joker doesn't care which one. His solution is, I'm just going to kill them all. And it's the Joker's 5-way revenge. That book is so great. That cover is iconic. That book is fabulous. What a way to reintroduce the Joker in his most homicidal, maniac personality. So, but
a great way to wash off that, horrible acid-laced, Batman. Now, I love the show. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure it was my first introduction to Batman. Yeah. I'm sure, right, as a kid. But I love the dark gothic Batman, and that's what I think we all love. I think that's what all, especially as we're adults, that we love. That Batman is awesome. And that the cover I showed, that's an image from inside of Batman 251. Who wrote that? What was that from?
Oh, it was Pam that wrote that.
Oh, you're right, Pam. Thank you. I know you and I are simpatico on a lot of these things. That image, that is from Batman 251. That is an interior page, and I love that you see that image a lot, and I love that they use it. That's a great big treasury edition.
Beautiful, yeah.
And that's a beautiful book to own, a treasury, a great big treasury with that image. But that's Batman to me. The cape, the shadows, the night, the darkness. Batman is just such a great character. The origin. Come on, I think that's the greatest origin in comics. His mother and father gunned down. Yeah, gunned down, and the young man decides he's going to wage a war on a crime to avenge his parents. So, just everything about Batman is awesome. So I am on board 100%, and yet he's still my number 4. He's just number 4.
Well, for Chris, your number 4 is
Jason Peter J. Garrick.
It's a great.
That's an awesome drawing to pick too by Kubert.
And
I love Jay Garrick. I love the Flash.
Jay Garrick.
Barry Allen. It doesn't matter. I love the science of the Flash. I love the Flash facts. I love Jay Garrick. When I first saw him in JLA JSA crossover when I was younger, I had no idea that there was an older Flash. I just knew Barry Allen, and his costume design I just think is cool. Love it. Simple. It's great, iconic, and stalwart JSA member.
When I was a kid, the Flash was one of the first characters I read a lot of. Though, again, like you, it was Barry. And the way that I was introduced to Jay is from the I was kind of aware of who he was a little bit, and then enough that I kind of knew who the character was, and I thought it was really cool the way they just sort of incorporated him on the live action show with John Wesley Shipp, where he had the older brother that was named Jay, and then he was killed. And I was like, okay, Barry doesn't have the brother in comics, but that's a pretty cool way of kind of acknowledging him, for TV, that you get him in there. And then full circle, then later on, John Wesley Shipp ends up playing the live action Jay Garrick. It has that cool suit, and
he was great.
And the way they explain the reason he wears the helmet, just loved it.
Yeah, and he was Jay Garrick in the show too.
And he was he was Jay in the CW Flash show.
Yeah, he was.
That's Mercury School. Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's a great pick.
There is his.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the most iconic covers ever.
Well, I know, Chris, you said you were going to send me some books, so you can go ahead and slide that one right in there.
I will. That'll be in there.
Yeah. All right, so for my number 4 pick, I also have a DC Speedster. Mine's a little different. I have got the Reverse Flash.
Oh.
Just,
so evil.
It's hard placing another villain above Joker, but you talk about a villain that's just pure evil, and you're hard pressed to find someone that's just more evil and hateful than Eobard Thawne, which is also just such a ridiculous name. I don't know.
He's mad because of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of rogues, I think the best 3 rogues galleries in comics are Batman, Spider-Man, and Flash.
Agreed. In that order for me.
Yep.
And and Reverse Flash is just I just put him as my number 3 because for a villain to hate their counterpart as much as they do, where he became he idolized Barry Allen and wanted to become like him in the future, and then was rejected, and then that love just that idolization just turned to hatred. And I think one of, if not the best retcon, was when Jeff Johns did the Flash Rebirth series, when he brought Barry back, and then had the had the thing with his parents being dead. And remember, that was something that because of the shows and the movies and stuff, we just take that as part of the character. But that wasn't there until Rebirth, because before that, Barry, his parents were alive. They would, he would go visit them occasionally. But the story that Johns wrote of how Reverse Flash hated him so much that he went back in time and murdered his mother and framed his father for it. I mean, you talk about evil and the way to go after the person you hate the most. It doesn't get much worse than that. That's, and the cool thing about him is, even though he's died several times, he can always just pop up because he's a time traveler. So, he'll always pop up here and there, and you don't have to explain why he's there when he's been killed, because it's, that was that version,
another timeline version of himself.
Was from later on, and just,
I think Barry's parents back then lived in the future, and he would go visit them in the future, I believe.
Well, not at first. It was when Iris died, and then she kind of came back to life, and she lived in the future, and then took him into the future.
That whole thing was
right before Crisis. But his parents were alive before that, because I remember reading the books and his parents, being at his wedding when he was gonna, marry the other woman that he was seeing after he got over Iris, and them being there for the murder trial, which the murder trial when he killed Reverse Flash.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we
forgotten about that.
Man, so we again, yeah, everybody. It's just oh yeah, his mom died, the dad was framed, but that is something that happened fairly recently. But you talk about an excellent retcon that really adds a lot to a character, and that was that.
If you're gonna have anyone retcon something, it's John's.
Yeah.
John's or Busick.
All right, so we are up to the top 3 now, and Gary, you want to reveal your number 3?
My number 3, we've talked about a lot of heroes, a lot of villains, and you know what? None of them are anywhere near as scary as this character. He is the last thing you want to face when you have done wrong. That guy right there, the embodiment of God's wrath, the Spectre. This version, the Spectre was bonded with Jim Corrigan, the dead policeman who had been murdered and been given cement overshoes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter Zolomon is cool too. And that's a whole other he has with Wally, where he's trying to destroy everything in his life to make him a better hero.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting concept.
Oh, Flash is so cool. But the Spectre,
I love the Spectre.
I grew up on this run right here, The Wrath of the Spectre, my first iteration, my first ever viewing of the character. Michael Fleischer was the writer. Jim Aparo was the artist.
Jim M. Effin Aparo.
Yes. And Jim Aparo did a great Spectre.
That's my man.
Did a great Phantom Stranger. Did a great Aquaman. Did a great Batman. Jim Aparo was the man. But his Spectre, one of the first issues I ever read, he turned a bad guy into a block of wood and then sawed him up. I mean, wow. I was a 10-year-old
cool when he does it
reading that and just like, oh my God.
That whole series is so good.
Yeah, so it's only 10 issues, but actually it's 10 issues, and then there were 3 unpublished issues, so you can get a collection that I turned Chris on to that he got. And I do. I like the Judas Iscariot version of the Phantom Stranger.
I did too. I thought that
was really good, and that he's earning back. He's got to earn back those pieces of silver, that he gives. So,
and there was years ago there was a really terrible Dracula movie, and it's unfortunate the movie was bad because the origin they had for Dracula was that he was really Judas.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that's why he he's has the weakness to silver because of the 30 pieces of silver, and that's why he the sunlight hurts him because when they hung him it was the sun's coming up, and I was like, this is and that's why the cross hurts him because of this. That's all really cool, and why did you waste this concept on such a piece of shit movie?
Yeah, well, I like that a lot. The the Spectre run.
I agree.
Spectre run. So
Dracula 2000,
so good, and the character, the Jeff Johns. I mean the run that Chris showed the Corbin issue from by John Ostrander, written by Mandrake. That is a top 5 all-time series for me. That whole run there. The Jim Aparo run is right up in there too. But I think that the subject matter was deeper in the John Ostrander run.
Oh, absolutely. It was some more modern.
Yeah, I mean, there was one storyline in there where the state of New York was getting ready to execute a criminal, and this criminal was innocent. And because of that, the Spectre was getting ready to punish all the residents of New York because he held them to be complicit in the death of it was going to hold them, accountable for the death of an innocent man. So that is a deep theme.
That's amazing.
And this is the late 90s. And John Ostrander was a former theology student.
There's an age story in it too, isn't there?
What story? Yes.
An age story?
Yeah. Yes, there is. So just a really deep storyline. And but the Spectre, Wrath of God, and when I say Wrath of God, we're talking Old Testament God, baby.
Old Testament God.
Old Testament God. And this is the
that's a cool cover.
Cover was so great. But
awesome
just a great character. The only and when he's not with a human host, he is really even more dangerous.
Oh yeah,
he is much more dangerous, much more out of control. You know, I think it was in Great Cosmic. They also played with the Spectre and Eclipso. You know, and that they're these great cosmic entities that go back and forth with one another. And the Spectre is just when he's going after you because you've done something heinous. You know, Batman beats your ass.
yeah.
Spectre might turn you into a skeleton. He might turn you into glass and shatter you. He might cut you in half with a giant pair of scissors. And for those of you that want to feel of what these books, the Adventure Comics run was like, there's a great Spectre short.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
The DC Showcase series.
Yes, so good.
Done
with, Gary Cole did the voice.
Gary Cole did the voice of the Spectre. Done very well, very much like this Fleischer Aparo run. And yes, he was. Hal Jordan was. As was the Atticus
Allen.
Crispus Allen. Yeah, for a while too. But the Jim Corrigan run is Jim Corrigan is the best host ever. And that run I'm talking about, the Ostrander run that ended with 62 issues, one of the best endings ever to a comic series. Ever in that book.
Wait.
Great resolution in it. So I recommend the Spectre. And you know, when people would talk about, this hero could beat this hero, blah blah blah, I just say Spectre.
Yeah.
You know, you can defeat God's wrath. Good luck. You know. So it is, and they really it is the tough character to write sometimes because you have to have a mystical aspect to kind of bind him somehow or go through the human host. But when it's full on Spectre, you're not beating the Spectre.
I remember that Days of Vengeance miniseries where it was like he didn't have a human host and it was all of the DC mystical characters trying to fight him, and he was just whooping all their asses.
He toasted all of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Who was it? There was one. There was one character that stood up to him for a very brief time. Was it Captain Marvel? It was one of them where they like channeled all their energy into him, and he stood up to him briefly. And even that,
I have to reread it.
Yeah, I have to too. I don't remember. Yeah, but making me want to reread it. But yeah, Spectre, baby.
It's a really great story.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on to Chris's number 3 and.
My number.
What a shocker! It's going to be another JSA member.
My number 3 is the one, the only Alan Scott.
Oh, dig it.
As far as Green Lanterns go, he stands, I think, above the rest. I just love his character design, his origin, and and he's Golden Age, and he's a JSA member. So he's awesome.
I would have rather he picked Sugar and Spike than Doiby Dickles.
Sugar and Spike is awesome.
You know, Doiby Dickles and Woozy Winks should be stupid because he's with Plastic Man. The only one worse than Doiby Dickles is Percival Pop, the super cop, who was put with the Spectre for some stupid reason. Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I really love Alan Scott is because of his Golden Age partner,
Doiby Dickles.
But I just love the character.
So and now that we know,
been
wait a minute. I see something. Now that we know Alan Scott is gay, that's why he liked Doiby Dickles.
It may have been. I mean, it didn't. He just
the man's name was
that he could have sex in the back of, and Doiby would drive him around.
And Gertrude.
Doiby Dickles, the master of tickles.
Oh, there you go.
That's what they called him at all the Eyes Wide Shut parties.
Oh my God, we've digressed. Tawny, I love
Tawny's a good one. Yeah,
I love Tawny.
Yeah, I do too.
And here is the first Silver Age appearance
of Alan Scott.
And I remember you telling me once it was such a great. What you said was so great. You're talking about his costume, and you're like, it's red and green, and it has a purple cape, and like it just shouldn't work, but it does.
It does. There's something about it, and there's something classic and eye-catching about it. So yeah, I like it. I love his design.
I didn't even mind the costume change they gave him when he was going by Sentinel, which I didn't really, care for him using the name Sentinel, but
Yeah, I didn't.
The way they kind of, kept the you know, kept the basic of
color
his
scheme
costume and
Yeah.
kind of simplified and stuff. I thought that was still a cool look
Yeah.
too.
Oh, the costume wasn't bad. I didn't like it when he was the Sentinel.
I didn't care for him changing the name.
He
No, I get
doubled
why.
his dickles.
No, I.
What'd you say?
He doubled his dickles.
He doubled his tickles.
Though I get why they did it at the time, because it was Kyle Rayner and there were no other Green Lanterns and they wanted it to be just one.
Yeah.
And they had Kyle bopping his daughter.
And
Jade,
the great thing about both Alan Scott and Jake Eric is that they are senior members of the JSA and they're always there for advice for younger heroes.
Right. So for Liz, I forgot to read Liz's number 4. Her number 4 was Harley, created as a sidekick for Joker, showed everyone she is so much more than that, and her love story with Ivy is epic. Yeah, she was created as a throwaway character in one episode of the animated series because they were like, well, we just need someone to pop out of this cake and do this Joker henchman thing. And then, the voice actress, that they loved what she did with it so much, they're like, yeah, we're just going to make this a character.
Yeah. She was great.
Liz's number 3 is the only male character on her top list, Batman. An OG for my first comic, can't have cat without bat. And for my number 3, you're going to have the Reverse Flash. I mean, who's he going to fight? He's going to fight Barry.
There he is.
I picked this image because,
that's cool.
A great drawing, the way the lightning's coming off of him, his original suit, not the one that they redid for Justice League with all the stupid little lines and stuff all over it. I didn't like that. But you see him, he's kind of smiling too, because of all these superheroes, you always got the sense, at least to me, like Barry was the one that enjoyed being a superhero. He
enjoyed using his powers. He enjoyed running, the freedom.
Yeah, he had fun. And this is before the stuff with the retcon with his mom dying, his dad being framed, when it was just, you got powers and you became a superhero. He seemed like the only one that didn't feel like he was burdened by, I have to do this, or he's like, this is the right thing to do. And, he just was such a great character. He's a CSI, for the police, and he's the Flash. And it was always funny the way they played up how he would be late all the time.
Yeah. That was an awesome running joke.
Yeah.
I thought you did there.
And of all the characters, as much as Metropolis loves Superman and like Coast City loves Green Lantern, there's only one character whose city not only had the big billboard in the coming into the city, like home of the name of the character. There's only one character whose city built a museum for them.
He's got
while they're still alive.
Yeah.
Central City loved the Flash so much that they built an entire museum dedicated to him while he was still there. They would have the annual Flash celebration, the Flash Day celebration, the parade, because they just loved him so much. And
Flash Museum.
Yeah, and even though, and looking at it too, the Flash Museum, some of the stuff was kind of stupid. Like, why do you have the cosmic treadmill in the museum? Like the actual operational cosmic treadmill that's there. Why don't you just put a replica there? Why are you putting the real thing out there for people to get?
Because nobody could use it but a speedster.
But they seem to have a lot of times where people would go and get it and find a way to use it. But I love him, even though by the time, when I was a kid, I was born in 1979. So by the time I was old enough to start reading comics and like doing more than just looking at pictures, but like actually reading them and comprehending what was going on, Wally was the Flash at that point. And even though I love Wally as the Flash, I love Jay. Barry was the Flash that I grew up on because we had a friend of the family that was a comic fan who kind of started getting me into it, who was a fan of the Flash. and it was around the time of the Flash, TV show, which came a couple years after I started reading. But early on, I had gotten a whole big stack of the Barry Allen Flash run, the Carmine Infantino one, and just love those. So Barry became.
I love that art too. I love Infantino's art on the Flash. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So that and like all the old Justice Leagues that I would read when I was growing up is what really made me love Barry. And even though, like I said, I like the other Flashes, for me, Barry.
I'm glad you brought that back up. Look at this dude fishing back here. His hat coming off.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about the original voice of Harley. Yes, she did die last year.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I like Wally, and I like Jay, but I would like to see Barry come back. As I know they've kind of depowered him, but whatever.
Barry was the Flash that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry was mine. Yep.
Up until Crisis, which happened when I was in high school.
All right, so Pam's top 10: Batman, Superboy, Spectre, Enemy Ace, good.
Like that.
Andy, Sunboy, Sergeant Rock.
Good for you.
Jonah Hex, Aquaman, and Pooch.
I love Pooch.
I love that. It's such a shame Mike couldn't be with us tonight, because we would have had we would have had Haunted Tank. We probably would have had Gunner and Sarge and Pooch, and we would have had Rock. Yeah.
Oh, we absolutely would have had Rock and Haunted Tank in there.
Yeah.
Which Superboy is that on there, Pam? Is that the original Clark Kent as Superboy? Is it Con-El? Let us know which
Superboy Prime. Oh
yeah,
love Superboy Prime.
Prime, piece of work.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back now. He's
Yeah,
back.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the breaking the third wall thing, where he's like, all right, yeah, this is the part of the issue where this happens.
Yep.
All right, so we are at number 2. So, I think everybody would have that's watched us for any length of time would know which are Gary's top 2 going to be. All right, she says OG Superboy.
There you go. Love it, Pam.
Good stuff.
Love OG Superboy. All right, number 2 for me is that muck-encrusted mockery of a man shambling in the swamps of the bayou.
There he is.
Alec Holland, who has been transformed into the Swamp Thing.
That is so cool.
So that right there is the image colored differently of Swamp Thing 9. So you've seen Swamp Thing 9 from me a million times. So there you go. Yeah, me too. Plastic Man, very cool movies. So hey, there you go, Mr. Keith. Spectre was right up there. He is my number 3. But yeah, Swamp Thing. I love the stories of a man transformed into a monster trying to hold on to his humanity. Trapped in this hideous outer shell. It's one of the things that appeals to me about Ben Grimm. So just great character, and of course the version for me is the Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, but the Alan Moore writing was so fantastic.
The tragic love story between him and
Abby. I mean, I'm sorry. Well, him and Linda, his wife that dies, and then him and Abby. Yep. Yeah. So it's just what a great, rich character. I love the interaction between him and Constantine.
Love it. Yes.
And the Swamp, and Alec, Swamp Thing had a child, Tefe, through using Constantine as a vessel. With Abby.
I remember reading that issue. That was fascinating.
Yeah, it was very fascinating. So Swamp Thing, just what a great character. And, as they evolved him to the Avatar of the Green, it's given him a whole more, almost totally, almost godlike, as an earth elemental. And the whole...
Which was ingenious.
Yes. Dealing with the Parliament of Trees, and that there have been Swamp Things all, throughout
So
throughout
cool.
the ages. So
and then it gave rise to the red and the gray. I mean,
and the rot.
Yes,
the gray was the rot.
Yeah.
And then so just such a
and the one that Chris is the avatar of, the brown.
The brown.
Yes.
The brown. Yes.
Yeah.
The just.
Hey, by the way, Gary, I don't mean to interrupt, and we haven't brought this up, but when we were at Beyond Comics, I tore that bathroom up.
No, you didn't.
He was in there for a while. He was in there for a while. Where
they had to call hazmat.
I was looking over. I was like, did he just come out of the bathroom and just leave? Because I haven't seen
sirens were going off.
So listen.
It was wonderful.
So Beyond Comics wasn't broken into. It's just Chris's funk broke out. Is what happened.
It was pretty bad.
Gary's such a fan of Swamp Thing. He has VHS copies that he recorded off TV of all 72 episodes of Swamp Thing when they originally aired on USA, and he got all 72 VHSs autographed by Dick Durock.
Yeah, there you go. And he did it while he was in the suit with the zipper.
Yeah,
that you could see the zipper. Hey, you know what? In the first movie, the first movie kept going downhill because they ran out of money. And so there's no budgeting. So the beginning of the movie starts all right, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But one thing I didn't need special effects for were Adrian and her barbos, and that was that was a great part of
that was the best thing about that movie was Adrian.
Yeah, it was.
I've always had a thing for her, man.
That being said, the
tell it to call you Billy.
The TV show that was done for Netflix about 5 years ago was magnificent.
Oh, it wasn't done for Netflix; it was network.
It was done for the DC network before it got bought by Max.
Okay,
and it got good ratings. The only reason they canceled it was because
we watched it. But what did we watch? Was it on a DC network? We
watched it on the DC network. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was on Netflix. Okay, well, it was magnificent.
It was fantastic.
And it was, the cold open was fantastic, and it was a true horror. It was great.
Yeah, in season 2, we would have gotten Floronic Man, and
we'd have gotten Arcane. Arcane,
it would have been incredible.
And the only reason it got canceled was because the tax breaks they were getting. Yeah, they took the tax breaks away, and they were like, "All right, well, we're done."
And there were big tax breaks, and they had introduced a Spectre and a Phantom.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And the Blue Devil was done well.
And Dr. Occult, I think they kind of teased him too.
Well, you had Madame Xanadu in there.
Yeah.
And they had Blue Devil. It's just, it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
Really well done. And the Swamp Thing himself looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Swamp Thing, what a great character. I know
Abby looked pretty incredible too.
Abby was cute. I know we were gonna Gunn was gonna do something with Swamp Thing. I don't know where that is right now. I don't know if it was gonna be animated or live action. Hopefully it will come to fruition. But what a great character. So Swamp Thing, my number 2, and Swamp Thing 9, my favorite comic cover of all time.
All right, Chris, your number 2, the character.
My number 2, of course, is Ferguson, the Brown Lantern.
Well, that's what he did. That's what he did at Beyond Comics. He did his number 2.
My number 2 is Jim Corrigan, the Spectre.
There you go. Oh, there he is, cutting the dude in half.
I wanted to include an image from that very series you were talking about.
There we go.
That is Aparo.
Yep.
Cutting that hairdresser in half with a giant pair of scissors.
That he's enlarged because he takes a regular pair of scissors.
Yeah, they were his scissors.
Yep.
The hairdresser's scissors. That is fantastic.
He took a little off the top.
Yeah, he did. I love the Spectre. I just, I've just grown to love him more and more over the years. He is the most powerful member of the JSA. And I love the mystic stories they tell. I love it when he battles Wotan. And I love And you don't see this much anymore, but I used to love it when they would do the big cosmic battles where they were throwing freaking planets and stuff at each other.
Mm.
That
Yep.
was cool stuff. I just love Spectre.
He would be between the planets holding them apart. That was in one of the JLA, JSA.
He did that in a JLA, JSA crossover. He's just a great character all around. I don't like it when anyone else, like Gary was saying, I don't like it when anyone else is the host. It has to be, for me, Jim Corrigan. He is that no-nonsense, hard-boiled police detective that, doesn't put up with any crap. And the fact that he's a police detective, puts him onto a little more crime than he would be aware of normally.
And the fact that he's a dead police detective.
Yeah.
Given cement overshoes. What a way to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, damn, that's
horrible.
Horrible way to go.
I do prefer Corrigan as him, but what they did when it was Hal Jordan, I thought was interesting because it was the whole, redemption thing they were working on with him.
Oh, it was a great idea.
And the way they combined the Green Lantern suit and the Spectre one, I thought looked cool. The whole thing with Christmas Allen, I thought was interesting, where he was like the corrupt cop.
Yeah.
And that, but yeah, Corrigan is the one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's for me, it has to be Corrigan. And I honestly think DC did Hal Jordan dirty, man. They just really shit all over that character for a while. Unnecessarily so.
Yeah. They were wanting to get rid of some old characters to introduce new versions of them, and
they did that across the line. Look at
they did.
Green Arrow. They killed Aquaman for a while.
Oh yeah,
Barry.
Yeah,
but it never takes. They always have to revert to type.
Always, and it always does.
Yeah, they made Superman blue and energy.
Age. Yep,
nice.
First Silver Age Spectre.
That's cool. All right, well, Liz, for her number 2, it is Wonder Woman. The hero of my youth, badass in her own right, grew up on her comics and Linda Carter. Enough said. I think we all did some growing watching the Linda Carter Wonder Woman show.
When I started
my growing,
when I first started watching that, I was a boy. When I stopped, I was a man. Yeah.
Well, she was phenomenal. I mean, Linda Carter was perfect as Wonder Woman.
Let me tell you something. Linda Carter today is still a smoke show.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
She's just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, for my number 2, is a character who, has been disrespected a lot, but has had some fantastic stories in DC. And I just got his first appearance. What'd you say?
Percival Pop.
Yeah. And I got his first appearance autographed by his creator, not this past year, but year before that at Baltimore. And that is my man, Booster Gold.
Love Booster.
Oh man, this is going to really tie in well with something else coming up.
Yeah. I'm a huge Booster fan.
I love Booster.
You're a huge Booster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great character, and he has had so many cool arcs.
Yes, Dan Jurgens creating him. I got his first appearance, Booster Gold #1, like I said, signed, and he signed it in this great, in a great spot with a good signature, nice big with a yellow mark. It just looks fantastic, and I like how the character grew from being goofy and kind of being a questionable morality, where he's this failure in the future, where he showed promise as a football player and then got caught betting on the games and throwing them, and he lost all his respect and was a janitor in a museum, and decides he's going to be a superhero, and he steals a power suit and steals a Legion of Superheroes flight ring and travels back in time with a robot, and he's like, I got knowledge of what's going to happen. I'm going to be a superhero, and I'm going to get sponsored like a damn NASCAR. And but how he grew from being the goofball into being an actual hero, and just I love it. And even though, more recently they've kind of made him, a bit goofy again. I'm interested to see what they do with him after this big DCKO thing is over.
Yeah, he's in KO.
I hope something cool. I remember reading Crisis, Heroes in Crisis, and they kept hinting that it was going to be Booster that was the bad guy, and I was reading it thinking I'm going to be so pissed if you do this. And thankfully they didn't. Again,
I loved it when he was wearing sponsor stickers on
his well, I love the version of Booster that became the Time Lord, one of the Time Lords.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that even though the world thinks him as a bit of a clown, and even some of the other heroes, that he was out there correcting time and had a much trickier job than anybody knew, and I thought that
he had a much bigger destiny than the rest of
them. Absolutely.
That's what I was going to mention. Again, it comes back to Jeff Johns, but when he was writing, and think of it too, he's writing that book while the artist on it is the guy that created the character. So I'd love to be able to talk to one of them one day and be like, how was that you especially Jurgens, like, you created the character, but you're on the book when someone else is writing it. He must have been good with it. But the whole thing of he's the greatest hero that you've never heard of.
Yes.
And had to keep up the image of being this goofball so that no one would take him seriously, to know that he was actually the most important hero in DC, because he was fixing the stuff in the times, and Batman figured it out.
Yeah.
And, like, Batman ended up, giving, he got Batman's respect because he was willing to carry that image of everybody thinking of him as an idiot, so that he could keep doing what he needed to do. And then after Blue Beetle got killed, and he got angry at the rest of the superhero community, because he's like, he was trying to warn you and all of you ignored him.
Yeah.
And then when they did that Justice League series that ran for, I think it was 24 issues, the Justice League International, where they were the only ones that remembered what Max Lord did, and they were hunting him, and Booster was the leader of the team. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Giffen DeMatteis McGuire stuff was great too, and the stuff with him and Blue Beetle, and
Blue and Gold.
Yeah, Blue and Gold. Yeah, and the stuff.
Blue and Gold. What were they? Repossession.
Yeah, that and the stuff they would get into, and the pranks, and the the stuff with Martian Manhunter and the Chacos, and
it's just so good.
Oh, cooey, cooey, cooey!
Don't forget cooey, cooey, cooey.
Cooey, cooey, cooey.
They embezzled all that money and sank it into that island, and it got up and moved.
Or one punch.
So it's character I love, and he's had his times to shine. Has had times to shine. Has had times where he's been kind of forgotten about. So I'm hoping that we get something good with him going forward.
His relationship with Rip Hunter.
Yeah, where Rip Hunter is his son, and he doesn't even know that Rip is his son.
His storyline in 52.
Yeah, and I love how Rip Hunter cannot let his identity be known.
Yeah,
because someone will go back and kill him. Somebody will kill him, and he's imperative to the timeline.
Yeah, and that series that that Jurgens and Johns did, and they brought Booster's sister back.
That was so cool. And then he had further adventures with Beetle.
Yeah, and the thing when he couldn't save Beetle, where Hunter was like, "You're not, we can't let you save him. That has to be a fixed point for all this other stuff to happen." But that was a very touching issue. The Supernova character, where it was him, and then it was his ancestor. Just a lot of really cool stuff with him.
Great story arcs with him. Fantastic.
So we are down.
Great choice.
Mm-hmm.
So we are down to our number one pick. So Gary, we'll review yours real quick. At 10, we had Commandy. 9, Warlord. At 8, Wildcat. 7, Jonah Hex.
That's so cool.
6, Chameleon Boy. 5, Jesse Custer. 4, Batman. 3, Spectre. 2, Swamp Thing. And number one, a character will be a surprise to absolutely no one that has ever watched this before. It is
Arthur Curry, Aquaman. There you go.
He's spicy.
Yeah, he's spicy with the fishies. Look at that with the dolphins.
That is a cool piece, man. Look
Jim
at
Lee. Jim Lee.
That'd make a great tat, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I almost chose the one Dan chose, the Ivan Reyes one that was so great, but Mobius can't go wrong with Batman. That's for sure. I just always loved Aquaman as a kid, whatever reason. That's the character I gravitated to. My first issue of Justice League, or the first comic I ever had, Justice League 111, he did something really cool. Poison Ivy had these vines that were crushing buildings, and I remember the dialogue was, they can crush a building in minutes. I imagine they can crush you in seconds. And he just flexed and broke them and said, you're forgetting I am. There you go, Mr. Keith. Love it. We're on the same wavelength with Swamp Thing there.
Oh yeah.
He says you're forgetting that I'm, my body's conditioned to the depths of the sea floor, and I can break these vines like nothing. And he did. And I thought that was badass. And then another one of those early first issues I ever had of Genesis books for me was Brave and the Bold 114, Batman and Aquaman. And it was drawn by Jim Aparo, and Aquaman was just this badass character.
Which one was it?
114.
114? Do I have that one?
I don't think you do. He sunk a plane, and he sinks this plane because it's got a bomb on it that if it reaches a certain elevation, it's gonna go off, and he sinks this plane and comes to the, he and Batman are not, Batman's not cool with that until he finds out why Aquaman sunk.
I do not have that one, but I will get it.
I know somebody had it the other week, and I was trying to get you to get it, but I think it was I think you had made other purchases before. And
yeah,
we'll get to it, but I love that. But I love Aquaman. I love the story. Also early on, Jim Aparo, those adventure that great Spectre run. Toward about halfway through it, Aquaman became a backup in it, and Aquaman has a rich tradition of being an adventure because he was in More Fun Comics, where he first appeared in number 73 with Green Arrow, also first appearance, and Speedy's first appearance. Then at issue about 104 of More Fun, they segued into adventure comics around issue 103 or so, and then they were adventure comics for a long, long time. So when Aquaman goes back to adventure, and I guess it was like I want to say it was 435 or so. Mike Grill is doing these backup stories, and it's Mike Grill's first DC work. And
so More Fun became adventure, or More Fun was canceled the stuff was moved to adventure?
The stuff, including Superboy, had just appeared in More Fun 101, was the first appearance of Superboy. So at 104, I believe it is, Superboy, Shining Knight, Aquaman, Green Arrow went over to Adventure Comics.
Okay.
And Superboy became the lead character in Adventure.
So they just moved the features.
They moved the features. More Fun became a stupid funny book with these stupid twins that are right up there with Doiby Dickles, Dover and Clover. And Dover and Clover had stupid adventures, and More Fun probably dies about issue 125 or so. Doiby Dickles' first appearance, I don't know, was in the gaping pits of hell.
So you're saying that Dover and Clover couldn't carry the book?
Dover and Clover, it did not carry.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it hard to believe? And then I think it became maybe a funny animal book a little bit for the end. So More Fun dies, but Adventure goes on to have this rich tradition. And think about it. So we know Superman was in Superman in Action. Superboy was in More Fun. Then he goes to Adventure, and he's very popular. So he's got the lead in Adventure, and he's got his own title, Superboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seven Soldiers was also a backup during that Aquaman run, or the end of the Spectre run. Seven Soldiers, and as an
aside, I love that line in Stargirl where Pat is showing her the picture.
Of we can't count.
Like, oh yeah, we're the Seven Soldiers of Victory. She's like, "There's 8 of you here." He goes, "Well, we couldn't really count real well."
Yeah, we weren't good at math. Yeah. So the 7 soldier stories that appeared in those backup stories in the tail end of the Spectre, maybe the beginning of the Aquaman books, those were stories that were from the 40s and were never published. And they were there. I mean, the art wasn't. The scripts were, the scripts were there, but they never, they'd never drawn them. And they did that for that backup series, which was really cool. So they used the existing scripts and put them, and put the art to them.
That's cool.
That was really neat. So yeah, Aquaman, King of the Sea, Murrah, Aqualad, the whole
Aqua Baby.
Yeah, Aqua Baby till Black
Aqua Baby Corpse.
Yeah, All American 27 for Doiby. Okay, there you go. Aquaman, he had the tragedy of having his son murdered.
They're both awesome, Pam.
Pam, don't humor him. They're both
awesome.
They're
Dial
terrible.
is awesome.
They're terrible.
If I ever get a job writing for DC, I'm going to make sure I write a book where Doiby Dickles gets the Dial H.
The Dial.
And I'm going to make sure that when he turns into a superhero, that he turns into a big muscular superhero named Gary.
You know what? I think he should turn into a super character.
I would read that every month.
I think he should turn into a super character named Chris, who's a bathroom destroyer. That's what I think it should be.
The Brown Destroyer.
Yeah. The Brown Bomber. The Brown Bomber. There you go. The Swartz. Doiby Dickles, Robbie Reed. You guys suck. Aquaman, number 1.
All right, well, Chris, let's review yours real quick.
Speaking of alliteration, mine would be Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle.
Well, I was
that's not Ted Cord.
Starting at 10, we got Matter Eater Lad.
Yep.
We got Constantine at 9. We got 8, Stargirl. Psycho Pirate at 7. We got Sandman at 6. Mr. Fantastic at Fantastic. Mr. Terrific at 5. Jay Garrick Flash at 4. Alan Scott Green Lantern at 3. The Spectre at 2. And then, we can't forget, the greatest of them all.
He always had that wrench too. He bailed out Alan Scott so many times with that freaking wrench.
Look.
Not only did he beat some bitches with it, but he also would fix Goytrude up so he could. Because Alan, he'd get knocked out by a baseball bat or a splinter would take him out, and Doiby would have to save his ass.
Listen, I bought that Green Lantern 9, which was the first Oath. Remember, and on the cover, Doiby is being helpful with that wrench. He's going to hit somebody in the head that's going to take a pot shot out. So at least he was being helpful right then and there.
What if James Gunn came to you, Gary, is like, I want to cast you in one of my movies for DC, and you're like, all right, and he's like, and I want you to play Doiby Dickles.
That would get a punch to the shot.
And number 1 for Chris
is Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle. Classic. Love him. I've always loved this character. I loved him. I used to have, back when I had a collection, I had his first appearance, of course, drawn by the legendary Steve Ditko. It was very Spider-Man-like in those old Charlton books. But he made his first appearance here in DC in Crisis. Yep. And I have always liked this guy. I loved him when he was in the DeMatteis Giffen League.
Is this the first appearance of Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle one?
This is the first DC book he was, not the first DC book he was in, right? Because he was in Crisis.
He was in Crisis first.
Right after that.
The Ted Cord Blue Beetle was in Charlton.
Okay, yeah. So Dan Garrett, the first appearance that Ditko drew was not Dan Garrett?
No.
Okay.
No, Dan Garrett was around before Ditko.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dan Garrett was that character was owned by a different company. I'd have to.
Yeah, because Ditko co-created Ted Cord.
Because the Blue Beetle was a quality character.
Yeah.
Dan Garrett wasn't a quality. Okay.
Well, I guess Garrett would have been a quality character. And then I think maybe Quality sold their characters to Charlton, and then they revamped them or something.
Okay.
I have no idea. I know that he's fallen through a lot of hands.
Okay.
He's the town bicycle.
Everybody's ridden them.
Just a few months ago, I completed that the whole run of that Blue Beetle book.
I had that at one time. It's a fun run. He's a great character. I love that he is like, he's a nerd, man.
Yeah.
You know, he forgets to work out. He got fat for a while. He had a heart problem. Wore a girdle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was running with
Booster
Gold in one of the best buddy teams ever.
If only we were do a comic character of the week about Blue Beetle, wouldn't that be great?
I think that's coming up.
I know it is.
But he is just he's one of my favorite characters. I loved it when he and Booster tried to repossess. Wasn't it a tank from the Joker?
Yes.
They left it parked out in front of Barta and Scott Free's house, and then the Joker got in the tank and blew up Barta and Scott Free's house.
And I've said this before, I'm torn because as much as I love the Giffen, DeMatteis, McGuire League, I do feel like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle were the two that are most negatively affected from that, because while they're great in it, they're the two characters that haven't ever, or that have had the hardest time kind of shaking that, you know, that look of like them being, oh, they're just goofy idiots. But they weren't like that before they were, you know, in that book. Now, Booster was a character that was like pretty recently introduced, but Blue Beetle had been around a while, and, you know, he wasn't a goober like he was in that book.
But I like what they did with him.
I mean, I like it too, but I also like, you know, him being like a legit, you know, actual real.
Oh, absolutely. And he proved he was when Lord shot him.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, he's a legit, you know, superhero. He's a genius. He built his own company. He's rich, you know, all that stuff.
And he was on to investigating something that Batman didn't even catch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Batman didn't even catch it.
Yep.
If he had, maybe, you know, Ted Cord wouldn't have met such an ignominious fate. Yep. I hated what they did to him.
Yeah.
Understand why they did it, and it made for a really effective story.
It was a great
story. A really good story. But I mean, I cried like a little bitch when I read that book and he died.
I was upset. I was glad they brought him back.
You know what? I almost cried like a little bitch when you brought up Doiby frickin' Dickles. So
Doiby the Dick Dickles.
Doiby Dickles, he'll give you the tickles.
But yeah, Ted Cord is he's just awesome to me. I love him.
It has such a cool costume too.
It is a great costume. I mean, that's the tat I have on my arm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And think we were so close to getting him in live action too on Arrow, because originally Brandon Routh got cast who was gonna be Blue Beetle, and I forget the reason that they decided not to use him and they pivoted and made him Ray Palmer instead. But we were like this close to getting live action Blue Beetle, which, considering what they ended up doing with that character, you know, maybe it's better that. I
think the closest we got was Night Owl.
Yeah, maybe it's better that we, you know, that he didn't play Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so we'll go to Liz for her number one pick. You know, for anyone that knows her, no surprise, Catwoman. No secret, she is for me. She is sexy, bad, good. Bruce and Bat's perfect partner in crime and fighting it. They are better together, make each other better. Plus, she does so much for the underdogs of Gotham, the strays, the orphans. May or may not be the daughter of a mob boss. Just the best females in comics, in my opinion.
She's awesome. Sorry, I didn't show this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Catwoman. Catwoman is a great character.
Oh,
Great
Catwoman is awesome.
Yeah,
I've always loved. I loved what they did on Earth 2, where Selena and Batman got married, and
and had Huntress.
and had the Huntress.
If you haven't read it, there's a great Tom King book, Batman Catwoman book, that was like a mini series. And
when he cut his Batman run short, and then he finished it in that.
Yeah, it was really great, set in the future. Bruce is dead, and Selena is getting might get some revenge on the Joker with with the joke. It was really great.
Really?
And the Joker was like living in a retirement home, and not even a retirement home, but just like retired and was living in Florida.
Yeah, and Huntress was in it, and it was their daughter.
Just living down in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, so to my number one review, number 10, Power Girl, number 9, Hawkman.
I love that Hawkman.
Yeah, number 8, Joker, number 7, Aquaman, number 6, Martian Manhunter, number 5, Superman, number 4, Reverse Flash, number 3, Flash, number 2, Booster Gold, and my number 1 favorite DC character is I am the Bat.
There you go.
It's Batman. Huge Batman fan, probably my favorite character next to the Mr. Red, White, and Blue Captain America. But yeah, I mean, Batman is such a great character, like Gary said, such a great origin. And yeah, the super aspect, the detective aspect, the whole idea, it is ridiculous. The whole idea of, you give him a week to prep and he can beat anyone. Like, he can't beat Superman because he's Superman. But it would be really fun to read, and the detective part of it too, because you don't see a lot of characters that are real detectives, and I like when they do that with Batman, where they really dig into that aspect of him.
I liked it when they teamed him up with Sherlock Holmes. I thought that was fantastic.
Well, I like when Batman has respect for other detectives, like Ralph, the elongated man, Jason Bard, who's a bit character in the Bat universe. So when he thinks that you're a good detective, that's like the highest praise there is.
Yeah, what was it? Just ignored Blue Beetle, didn't he?
Well, he did. He messed that up.
What book was it where there was like this secret society of detectives, and I don't think Batman didn't even know about it, and he was having to solve this really like complex mystery and stuff. And when he finally made his way through and solved it and got there, it was like Detective Chimp was there, and it's like, oh, welcome to the club. And he's like,
Hardy Boys were there, Nancy Drew.
But he was there, and he was like, you're now officially one of the greatest detectives in history.
That's cool.
I want to say it was in Shadow Pact, just because Detective Chimp was part of it, but I can't remember for sure.
I can't remember either. But
I love Detective Chimp.
I do too. Bobo.
Oh, yeah. I love him too. I'd love to see him in live action too.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, Batman, just one of the most iconic characters out there. Maybe the second most iconic next to Superman.
I agree.
Superman.
It's Superman, then Batman.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man, I would think.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone for joining us. Thank you for everyone in the chat for letting us know who your top 10 favorite characters were.
Awesome.
This was a lot of fun. Next week we are doing we're back to comic character of the week. We were doing my pick, which is Danny Rand, the Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
The week after that, Thursday after that, we are doing comic creator of the week on Stan Lee.
Yep.
The week after that, we are doing Chris's pick for character of the week with Ted Kord, Blue Beetle. And then right after that, we'll do another top 10 list, which is our top 10 favorite Marvel characters.
There you go.
That'll be awesome.
So go ahead. Make sure you join us for all those shows. Make sure you start making your list for your top 10 Marvel characters, so you can let us know in the comments while we're doing ours who yours are too.
There you go. See how much fun that was?
Yeah.
Little, I don't think Dad. Hey, there you go. What a great impact that was, Pam.
That's awesome. That's a great memory too. That's a great core memory.
Thank you, Mobius, and thanks
Mobius. Thanks for joining.
I know it's early in the morning over there, Mobius. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
So I love seeing everybody's, obviously all of our picks. I love seeing all the ones in the chat too. It's
And again, just in case we didn't say for sure, this is our favorites. It's not the most important, because I think if we were going to do the most important DC characters, it's got to start with Superman, and go down from there. But it's just our favorites. Yeah.
And that's what I said. If we just did the most important or the most popular, it's Superman's 1, Batman's 2, Wonder Woman's 3, and then 4 through 10 would probably be the same characters on all our lists, maybe just in different orders. So doing our favorite characters, it's just more fun.
Absolutely.
And then you get an idea. Maybe someone will hear of a character that they've never heard of, or might take an interest in something that one of us say about a character that we really like, and pick up a book.
That's right.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that Chris's favorite DC character was Blue Beetle. Nobody probably would have. Looking at my list, nobody probably would have thought like, oh yeah, Booster Gold's up there, Reverse Flash is up there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, who would have known that Gary would have picked Aquaman number 1? Right?
That surprised me.
And that pick just went swimmingly with everybody. Yeah.
The Swamp Thing one surprised me.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Same with Spectre, I know.
I honestly thought that maybe Swamp Thing would have been higher on your list than Aquaman.
Well, Swamp Thing was number 2. Can't get much higher than that.
No, but you know what I'm saying? I thought you might like Aquaman a little less than Swampy, but apparently you...
I'm keeping with what's, as a kid, I'm keeping with that little boy that fell in love with Aquaman. He's still my favorite. Yeah.
He's a great character. He's awesome.
He is.
All right. So, again, thanks everyone for joining us. And until next time, catch you by the spinner rack.